The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies. Tape never lies.
Starts now.
The tape never lies.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go.
I was trading up 100.
Yes!
What? Oh my
Here
God.
it is!
Just reporting.
The tape never lies.
Other people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition. Take over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now them out stuck like the Jew and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Jimmy. What's the name? We do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket. Puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it. 1 point. 2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Birds never lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, what is good, TTNL fam? It is your girl, Cherie, aka Lady Bear, and shots fired out the gate. Well, anyway, we have a fun show for y'all tonight. We got a very special guest, Kenneth Davis from the Understanding Podcast, a fan favorite. Always glad to have him on. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in you guys that you came to see. We got Shayne, the smartest man.
Hey,
Hey, Shayne.
Cherie. Gave you a nice compliment in the green room.
Aw,
See how I am?
I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and bring in DDP because we know he got a lot to say.
What's
not
up,
Phil.
Cherie?
Phil barely talks. What are you talking about?
I don't talk. I might not be able to talk much. I have a cough. Not feeling the best. And
Shayne's night. I'm taking over, baby.
you're like Akon, bro.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
taking over. It's like Caleb Williams' song coming in. He's taking over. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. A lot of people. Listen, got a big show tonight. Obviously, the combine, the the continued discussion. We're going to bring our guest out. I love this dude from NBC Sports, Chicago, Under Center podcast. Does that Davis show. This guy's all over the place. But
He just took his Jalen Carter Bears jersey off the wall before he goes live with us.
I got to say this before we bring Kenneth out. You got me. Lorin Cox and Shayne just send me shit to get me so amped up
and it works.
Why can't Chicago just be in a great place to win championships? Like, God, the football God, smiled upon you and gave you this first round pick where your GM got it once, traded down, got the haul, got a DJ Moore, and then set himself up by the gods of the universe to get the best quarterback in the last 25 years to come out of college. It just so happens that every year during the combine or whatever, this guy might be taken over as the best. This guy might, bro, the tape never lies. And Caleb Williams, I'll just say it for me. Like, if Justin was great, I'd be the guy defending him. And I'd show you the fucking tape to prove it. But I'm about to do a highlight reel of Justin's game-winning drives. I'm going to give you 5 minutes of it. And 4 minutes and 48 seconds is going to be the open because it doesn't fucking exist. So let's start looking at things in reality and stop in this fantasy world. Because the reality of what I've seen of Justin Fields is average to below average, athletic, runner, scrambler, but he's just not getting it done on the NFL. You're not going to go to a Super Bowl with that. It's just the reality. And to see this Caleb torn down from pieces and pieces, and it's like, I put a lot of work into Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, and I'll just tell you right now, it's just not there. So God gave you an opportunity to swing at a high floor and an even higher ceiling. Just have good things. Chase greatness. Hashtag that up. We're with David Kaplan talking about this every day. Like, have nice things. There was a lot of people saying Ryan Leaf was better than Peyton Manning when the combine hit. Like, the tape tells the truth. I'll tell you right now, he's the best I've ever scouted, and I started scouting them back when Peyton Manning was around. And I'd take him over Peyton coming out of college. Peyton has done his thing, and that's the perspective that, guys like Jackal don't understand. You have to have an understanding that you're looking at these things in the infancy of their professional career. And it just baffles me that we're like this. So divided and decisive. It's just a joke to me. Like tonight, of course, Peter Bukowski's a Packer fan. It's no wonder Jayden Daniels is rising up board. You think the Packers want you to have Caleb Williams? Hell no. Hell no, they don't. Let's bring our guest out, Shayne.
Let's do it.
See what he has to say. I had to get that off my chest. It's driving me insane. There he is. Kenneth Davis. What's up?
I don't even know why we had to go.
Same angst.
No, I don't look. I don't even know why the rip down aspect of it that we don't have to do, or even pick the sides that we have to. I do like when you pointed out having a golden ticket or perceived golden ticket in your hand. Why are you angry about it? Like that's one of those things where you could say, you know what? I think I got something, but I may not. But I got an opportunity to have something again. Most people don't have both.
Exactly.
And that part is, but your facts as far as Justin in the fourth, that's the truth. But the total tear down, I don't think it's necessarily necessary. Some of it is Justin, some of it is seeing guys that are open, but also it's development. And like, so I think we're conflating that because I want to show everyone who's so mad at the fact that there's an opportunity to draft a Caleb Williams. It's like, I got to go and push this hard because you all are coming like this. And I'm telling you right now, I really just avoid it, to be honest with you. Like, I'll talk to my guys and I'll say my piece, but I've said like in December, this was kind of cool. But when it got to like January, it was you know what? I'm not about to do this. And at parts of this season, I remember earlier in this season being like, man, you know what? And I'm gonna be honest. I was like, man, you may just have to get Caleb if they get the number one. This is early. I mean, I'm a draft guy. That's what I do since I was a kid. That's Christmas. All right. Mm-hmm. So, and again, if you're into that, you think about stuff, unless you got like Michael Jordan. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say, unless you got the dude, and then depending on his age, you may even be like, we may have to do so. You brought up Peyton Manning, fused neck, Andrew Luck right there. Regardless of how you feel, Jim Irsay, as high as he gets, made the best decision possible at that time to move on for Peyton Manning to bring in what was viewed as a generational prospect in Andrew Luck, which also I think out of everybody you said, and I'm a huge Caleb guy, that may be the guy because it's the physical part, and I still like my quarterbacks a little taller. That's just me. I'm going 6'3" for my quarterback, but I'm settling here, Phil. I'm settling when we're talking about Caleb. I'm settling because he's awesome. But getting back to the point, as I digress, we don't have to. You can talk about the flaws that Justin has. There's still a chance that Justin can be an extremely successful quarterback within the NFL, particularly placed within the right system. This was the first year he had a credible receiver to throw to. This was the best line he's played behind. So there's a lot of things to look and not be like, I think we're looking at it from like now Justin is a bust. Justin is still the second best, what we thought, the second best receiver in that draft. And now Trevor Lawrence isn't even the same guy we thought in that same draft, right? So none of us.
I don't agree with you. I think Darnell Mooney showed what he was. I always believed in him.
I wish. And I think
coming off an injury this year.
He was coming off an injury, but also that's still
1,000-yard receiver.
It goes back to coaching, though. But that goes back. Go ahead. What are you about to say? I'm sorry, guys. I've been ranting. Go ahead.
No, this is perfect. This is what we love. But this is what I always ask, and we've talked about it on here, and this is what I ask people that say, and I completely 100% agree with you. And this is the thing that people don't want to accept. Mm-hmm. Justin hasn't been good enough, and the Bears haven't been good enough. The organization, both can be true. It does not have to be one or the other. But what I ask is, Justin was surrounded by elite level talent at Ohio State, at wide receiver, at tight end, at offensive line, in top flight coaching. And on tape, he still had the same flaws that we see in year 3, Kenneth. Everybody, if you go back to any analyst, any one of them, Justin has the ability to be something like we haven't seen. That's how much talent he has. If he could just get that processing just a tick quicker, that's what everybody said about him coming out. It's still the same story. So if you go out and get him, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze or Brock Bowers or do whatever, is that really going to unlock him? I just don't think it's going to. And I think that if we're drafting number 2, we're not having this conversation. The difference is we're at 1. That's it.
Sir, you don't need to talk to me. You know why you don't need to talk to me? Because you speak to me.
Yeah.
I know initially it was, I don't know, Kenneth, but then you knew me, Shayne.
That's right.
You know, but Shayne, that's what I'm saying. And I like the point, stick to that point of Ohio State where you see still he doesn't see a guy that's about to come open and he doesn't see him. He's still not doing that. Your point is the point. So let me be very frank. I was just coming back because I think, and like, so I just sit back with my people and I just watch everybody. And I feel like when I see Phil going through the shit, I'd be like, damn, Phil, why are you even going through this shit right now? Right? Like, that's how I just feel. Like, why are you doing this, Phil? You know what you know. So why are you entertaining this shit? Because that's basically, for me, the way I've went about it. Look, I love this player. When they announced Caleb being drafted, it will not feel the same it felt the first time when we first got to know each other. It won't be the same. And that's expecting a better future. But just because this shit didn't work, there's always that, this is the Bears, you never know. But what you said is facts. But let me say this. So what I would say to people initially, let's just be honest. Let's just say Justin and Caleb, and I don't think when you check their pedigree, they're this right now coming out of college. You do know how Justin is in the pros. You can look at that at a deficit. You can look at it as a plus because you still know what he is in the pros, all right? But let's just say they're the same guy. This guy isn't about to get paid. So, like, we're just being honest. That's a huge
on the ground floor. The
timing of it. The timing of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
football gods have shined on us.
Yeah, like yes. Look, if we're being honest, forget your emotions out of it.
First of all, the emotion is the frustration.
I'm not talking about you. This isn't you. This isn't you.
Right,
I'm just saying for everyone, because this has been a very emotional thing, which in some ways is a good thing. But this has been a very when you just see the war that's taking place on social media, and it's like it's like wild to me. But I'm just saying, if they were equal, you could still see why the Bears would go with Caleb Williams. When you look at the pedigree of Caleb Williams coming out, you really can't be like, oh, I think I can't pass up on this young man, regardless about how you feel about painted nails and crying on his mother. Just look at everything about Caleb Williams. All right. And for me, and I've been saying this for months, really. If people can talk to people at NBC, talk to people behind it, I've been saying it for months. This is what's going to happen. You saw the pendulum swing this past week when Peter King came out, and prior to that, and people using semantics to say, well, I think this means that. And all I say to them is, look, I get how you feel and what you desire. Phil, let me even use that on everybody else. I don't want to insult anyone. Let me not say anyone's being emotional. I get your desires. I understand you have a fondness. And I always say we all need to be cognizant of our biases. We all have biases. All right. But looking at that, be cognizant of it and think what's probably the best when you move forward. A guy that's put up these numbers and had these turnovers, if he had double the turnovers, you should still take him. I mean, when you look at what this young man can do, all right, he's not as athletic, but he's got more touchdowns in college with using his legs than Justin does, even though Justin did have the pandemic year. We always have to add that into the numbers when we're talking about that. Sometimes I think we forget about that. But for me, it's Caleb. But then it becomes the people that are trying, to me at least, I think, use logic, then have to start berating the other people when I don't think it's necessary, because you know that you're looking at it from the best stance you're looking at it. So that's the point where, for me, I'm just not. You know me, I'm not really the dude to do that dance like that. It's too much real stuff for me to be doing all of this and spending too much time with it. But I've seen what you guys have been talking about, and I've basically felt the same. You could tell with my likes or whatever. I felt the same way. But I don't think that we have to just destroy Justin. But Justin has warts too. I mean, and you would be lying to say that Justin doesn't have warts. And the fourth quarter thing, and this is what we talk about on the center the most. Fourth quarter thing is really big. because you can run into some fourth quarter comebacks if you got it. And I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I'm just saying proving that you can do it. Like you can, and I'm talking about doing it with less talent. Now, I pointed out he hasn't had the talent he has, but if you had, like, look who I hate to say this, look who Deshaun Watson, and I know you can say, well, Bill O'Brien offensively, but just look at the talent that he had. They got rid of his best receiver, and just look at what he was doing with that Houston team that basically could only sputter up 4 victories. You've seen guys still are able to show
everybody else better.
You've seen that, and that's the issue, to where you don't want to hear that, but that's big. And even if you're looking at the deficiencies that were around him, some of that lies on him, because that's what you asked for, that intangibility to come from that special guy that you expect to have, quote unquote, it.
I've watched, and this is where the emotion comes in. There's several layers. There's no bias from me. I know you guys could think, but when you spend 45 hours a week devoted to breaking down the Chicago Bears' shitty offense and whatever they're doing for the last 3 seasons and more prior to that, before Justin, it was Mitch I'm breaking down. And I could show people the truth with the tape. I've said this last year. Justin Fields is living on highlights. He's living on making a highlight play and not winning football games. It's just no anticipation throws, not attacking the middle of the field. All you got to do is play cover 2 and keep him in the pocket, and you've discovered how to stress him. Now, is he going to make a play there? Yeah, but he just never got better. And the narrative frustrated me that he improved this year, and it's not true. So that's where my time spent showing, hey, look at this. Then Shayne and I take 11 games of Caleb Williams every play, 2.5 hours of film for our patrons. There's no highlight reel. We did Oklahoma. We started with Oklahoma to show you there's no throwing mechanic issue. He comes in for Spencer Rattler, and it was like obvious, right? So we show the Oklahoma tape for 2.5 hours or 2 hours. Then we skip over the Heisman year when he has Drake London. We skip that because I don't want to hear, let's watch when he had nobody this past year and the worst defense, or 251st ranked D, or whatever they were. Let's see what this kid is. And the tape shows you. My father was on that show with us, and his quote is great in his Brooklyn accent. My God, this looks like a fucking highlight film, but it's just him. I'm just cutting the run plays and the flag plays out. It's just, let's watch all 8 of the games, and then we're going to solo Ken on Notre Dame game where he, quote, lost it. And let's watch that by itself. Just watch that game on all 22, not on a television copy with all these haters. We watched it. And you know what you come away with? A guy that's a freaking fighter. There's something innate inside that person that you could see, that he's outmatched everywhere, but somehow he's trying to help his football team win. That is an unchartable measurement for scouts and people. They want to hate on tears with his mom and nails when I've been around this game my whole life. And I look at it and I'm like, finally, there's an opportunity to get another Walter Payton type. That the game and his team means everything to him. I'm serious.
Look, now we're getting blasted. We're getting blasphemous. Just wait. Let's not go full. We can't go sweet. I'm a Caleb guy.
I'm not talking the position. I'm saying You know
Wait,
the game
this is-
and the winning matters more than his stats.
Okay, let me ask you this, because this is you preaching to the choir. But
Well,
in
let me ask you
I
this.
don't think, but I
Go
do
ahead, you
think
say something. I want to
that
ask you a
Justin,
question.
I do think that Justin is a fighter. Now, you can say that you have the prerequisite tools in certain situations to pull us out of this firefight, but I don't think that I believe he's a fighter too. This young man may just have more wizardry when it comes to this.
I totally agree with that, Kenneth. That's what I'm saying. You have to have that innate ability. You can't, guys that just get over on their talent, they'll fizzle out. So you have to have that fight and that determination. He has it. And to your point, he's a tank with a loaded arsenal in every direction. He wins from the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
We went down every narrative, Kenneth, Shayne and I and my dad. Can he throw with structure? Over and over, he did it.
Just take it beyond that, because like I said, where Kenneth is 100% right. If you're a believer in Justin Fields, you're gonna, where the tape does lie, you're only gonna see what you want. If you hear that he only makes plays out of structure, that's what you're gonna believe. He never ever takes a snap under center, which we proved.
We
false.
proved that wrong.
But you're just gonna focus on that, and it's just you're
that's
fighting.
Why I'm doing this.
We're all fighting an uphill battle, but
which
the
we
thing
don't
about
have
it is,
to
Phil,
fight.
right? Because you know where it changes, Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
In week 1, if we play Green Bay and he goes out and throws for 320 and throws 4 touchdowns, it's over.
Shayne, week 7. I'm gonna just wait. Let me help myself. First of all, I think that the middleman said cap something. Caleb isn't Justin. You're not paying it. This is even with the Caleb stuff, it goes too far. You're not listening. This is the problem with all of this. We're not listening because I think you're going to say something I don't want to hear, and I'm going to go, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And this is the stuff we do in serious shit today, where we go, oh my goodness, you may say something. And I'll say this, when the three of us get together, we don't do that. All right. But this is the thing, not Shayne's, again, Shayne preached to the effing choir. I told people this, Shayne, 6 to 7 months ago. You're going to be sitting there and we're going to see some fucking throws that we haven't seen, particularly in the fourth quarter, some falling off the sideline, hitting into the end zone, and people are going to lose their shit.
Right. And Kenneth, it's not even going to be special throws. It's going to be a fucking slant pass. It's going to be a fucking slant pass that we haven't seen in this offense. That's the thing. You know,
on time in a small window, and you're like,
I got to give our guy Greg Braggs a ton of credit, because he asked a great question to Ryan Poles yesterday. And usually when you're asking a general manager at the goddamn combine to compare a prospect to the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes, what are they going to, Kenneth, you've been in this business long enough. They're going to say, well, I'm not really going to get into comparisons. He started, it's pretty easy to see, the arm angles. And that's what it is, Kenneth. What always drove me nuts with Justin, the flash, the big runs, a deep ball, that stuff is great. You can't go 1 for 6 on layups.
Yeah.
And that's the separator for me. It comes down to one thing and one thing only, Kenneth. And listen, I don't want to, this can sound awful. I'm not calling Justin lazy. I'm not, but he's lazy in his dropbacks. So
he's
slow
lazy
with that.
in his mesh.
Lazy isn't the word.
Lazy is the word.
Lethargic.
Lazy is the word in the mesh.
I would say this. Because I'm not disagreeing.
Jay Cutler was lazy in
That's what I'm about to
mesh.
see. But I'm saying, first, being a black person, let me say this. Because we never use lazy with Jay. Because one thing, and I used to be arguing, Jay Cutler Day was the biggest day. But let me finish.
I didn't even know you were going there.
This is the thing I was about to say.
And
I'm not saying this. I'm not putting this to y'all, but we're using that word referring when you're talking about slavery and things like that. It's very triggering, right? So this is the thing, though. what we would say is usually he's not fundamental whatsoever. And you would emphasize the extreme lack of fundamentals. Because with Jay, I would say he never sets, he throws off of his back foot
all the time.
But that's what I'm not, when we're saying what fundamentally, Justin has never been fundamentally sound. But when you imply lazy, it says that he never tries to improve. He just never may have gotten better at improvement. So that's where Justin's saying that's the thing.
And this is the point, just to play off of that. And I completely understand with what you're saying, and it should have used a better word there. But in season, Kenneth, these guys, when you hear preaching fundamentals, they can say it, that they're not working on that a ton. And this is where a lot of that falls on to Justin and whoever his quarterback coach is that he hires in the offseason to work with.
Right.
Because, Kenneth, there's no reason that we're heading into year 4 and we're worried about the depth and speed of his drop back.
I'm with you.
It's when that is an issue, still an issue of needing to speed up the processing. So you're slow in the drop back, you're a tick slow with the processing. Then we're adding in the release, tap is in there.
The tap, the
in a game up and in a game where a 1/10 of a second or a fraction of an inch can be the difference between a win and a loss, or a pick six, or a game-winning touchdown. That's the separator. And when you can remove all of the substance and the flash from Caleb Williams' game and from Justin Fields' game, remove it all. Put them up there, and you tell me who has better mechanics delivering the football. And Kenneth, it's not even close. And this is the thing. This is the thing that bothers me. And I'm just repeating myself from previous shows. Lawrence Holmes brought up, he's like, I'm so sick of y'all comparing this kid to Patrick Mahomes. Listen, you're comparing him to Patrick Mahomes because of the fucking plays, not because of the career arc, Lawrence. You're smarter than that. It's because of the plays, not the. We're not saying he's going to take us to 3 Super Bowls. It's what they look like in the play. This kid's release is Aaron Rodgers like.
That's the real comp.
In year 1.
That's
you see both. You see both. So it's hard.
No, let me say that.
But look, year 4.
So that's my guy. So I don't have to agree with him. All right, that's my man, Lawrence. This is the thing. So if you know me,
but you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
I'm getting to what you're saying. I'm getting to what you're saying.
Right.
If you know me, you know that I'm the creator of Baby Goat. All right. And that's referring to the young man that you were talking about that resides in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. So anytime I hear and I go to scout somebody, I like to hear all the hype, and I'll call it cap right here. I've done this with a lot of players. I always bring up Adrian Peterson in Oklahoma here, and people have been like, he could go to the pros. And I'm like, let me go watch this shit. Been like, what the heck? Damn. He could go to the pros, right? His freshman year, like, whoa. Remember thinking Maurice Corrett and Mike Williams, USC Mike Williams? You can't. You're not that. Stay your ass. Don't sue anybody. Stay your ass in college. The reason I'm bringing this up. So when I decided to finally, because Alex is an SC alum, and Alex has been berating us with Caleb Williams last season. We'd be like, shut up, Alex. So I'm going to go watch my Caleb Williams. I'm like, I'm tired of hearing about he reminds people of Patrick Mahomes. How dare they say Patrick Mahomes this? You know how I feel about Patrick Mahomes? And I'm watching him play. And I'm seeing him fall out of bounds and throw strikes. And it's the arm slots. When he said artist and surgeon yesterday, Ryan Poles, there is, like, for instance, I'll say this. I was having a discussion. It was me, Glenn Morgan, and Josh Schrock. Glenn Morgan works at NBC, does draft, great guy. We were talking about strong arms, and we were talking about Baby Goat, Patrick Mahomes. He's like, Patrick Mahomes, strongest arm. I was like, no. I was like, Josh Allen. You can maybe say Josh Allen may have, and you can maybe even say Justin Herbert. But I said the thing is, it's the spin that Patrick Mahomes puts on, where he can put that ball in places we may not have ever seen anybody put it in some of these places with velocity. Those other guys have velocity, but they don't have necessarily to this degree the ability to one change arm slots, but also it's not even just changing arm slots, because Phillip Rivers can change arm slots, right? But Phillip Rivers was much more, like he said, a surgeon. This is changing arm slots with the ability to spin it. And this is where it gets freaky crazy to remind you of what Patrick. I'm not saying he's better than him, but that's where it's different with Caleb Williams. And you add to that the fact that he's a dual threat guy, but he can win from the pocket. But he's able, like, the only thing that's missing is if he was about 6'3". Because if he was 6'3", forget everything you ever heard about a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was just that, but again, I'm happy we're not holding that against him, but that'll be the only thing. But I mean, as a prospect, I hate to say it, he's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? As a prospect, the only knock is his height. But for me, because I don't care, the other stuff doesn't matter. I think he's a winner. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be something if I didn't believe. I mean, for him to sit there, right? And for Lincoln Riley to say, I'm not giving you a scholarship. And you mentioned Spencer Rattler. People forget who Spencer Rattler was when he showed up.
When he got replaced, Caleb took over for a guy that was in the running for a Heisman.
People wasn't promised a scholarship. Caleb said, I'll walk on.
I'll walk on.
I'll walk on, and took his job.
That's not a diva. That's a freaking assassin. There's two different things, bro.
I've
been around this game.
Listen, you can be a diva. If you can do that, I don't care. All right. Like I care about wins, losses, and also crazy intangibles and tangibles. And it seems like his ratings are high. If we're looking at the back of a trading card, his ratings are ridiculous, basically. And that's where it's like we're getting crazy with this. That's where it's getting that's where it's like, yo, we're getting out of hand. This dude right here is special.
Listen,
and the guy that we have, he has special attributes, but
none of them are involved. He wasn't him in college.
He wasn't him in college. Like, I mean, if we're just they weren't the same guy at the same level. Again, you still don't know what Caleb may be in the pros, but for me, I'm shaking the dice on that bad boy.
The three quarterbacks come out of my mouth when I'm watching. I've watched every play of Caleb Williams
multiple times at this point.
I don't even 8, 9 times. Just cutting tape and putting it together for patrons. We are going to watch the Washington game. Kenneth, I'll send you an invite if you want to pop in, and you could sit while we break down tape.
Not the broadcast. It'll
be the coach's tape, and I'm going to telestrate it to show you. That's why I just know what I know to be true. There's times I see Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, this dude used to kill us with this shit. And I used to sit there and say, how and unbelievable. I hate the Packers, but man, you cannot see this. This is like incredible. And then I see Dan Marino sometimes whipping that ball with that quick ass release, spread it right through the linebacker's arm.
Just that makes
fear.
Makes everything on your offense more complete. Just the release. Just the release.
Kenneth, the accuracy in his throw, the ability to layer the football.
But that part right there.
He could just
that
part. I'm gonna pump you and just drop it over you.
From anywhere. That's where it gets crazy. Dog, we're not just talking about I can throw a beam or a dime. I can layer this falling on my backside.
Exactly.
To different, like that's where, but this is a lot of these young quarterbacks now, they're doing this. And it's like, what the hell is going on when you just like CJ Stroud? And that's another thing where everybody's like, trade back. You missed out on CJ Stroud last year. All right? Regardless of how you feel, I'm just telling you, because guess what? Everything you said, Shayne, was right. We didn't have the first pick, right? Guess what? Yeah. You may not have had the first pick. Right. And everything you guys have said about Justin
guess what? If we didn't
be applying.
Let's just say they drafted CJ Stroud last year. You don't have DJ Moore on this team. You don't have the first pick this year. You don't have a second round pick next year.
I had no problem. But look, okay, so when we're doing that though, because I believe that we're saying this. I'm with you.
But you were also right. You were also ushering Justin Fields out the door with no legitimate shot at showing everybody
that was
that
the
he's
key
the man.
in this whole thing.
Yeah.
They said, let's give him a shot.
I agree, but listen to what I'm trying to say. We also have to pay attention that a gamble paid off. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. You know, like this was a gamble.
He deserves props for it, to be honest.
I'm not. Oh, but Phil, that's
to the fans. I'm saying
that's
a
just
lot of fans don't understand
that. If you and I are in Vegas and you be like, "Yo, I'm putting it all on red," and you hit, I'll be like, "Damn, you did it!" But that was crazy as hell. Like I'm pointing it out.
Exactly.
You may have lost the house, right? Like so, there's still a chance because I think overwhelmingly. One of the things that I think that we're trying to say, all right, and just let me know if I'm right with you two. Yes, for instance, like this draft, you can get such a haul. And I get what you guys are even saying. Last year, you had to help because it was barren last year. But there was a situation that you may not have gotten any of these guys, and your only chance was last year. And regardless of who you surrounded that young man with, he's showing, and there could be regression. I'm not saying there won't be. But what he's showing in the pros, no. Well, that Georgia game was when we was like, wait, hold up. What? And
totally different quarterback.
It's totally different. And we didn't know if that was an outlier or if that was who he truly was, if that dude that's too conservative at Ohio State was not doing the things that need to necessarily take place. That's all I'm pointing out, that you did still technically, especially when we're talking about the warts on Justin, not pick out what could be a supreme prospect in CJ Stroud. You can do both. You know what I'm saying? It can be both. Is all I'm pointing out.
No, I just want to give our network
give us props.
I want to give our network a little props because I was not crucified, but people got upset. But I took it. The Bears have not had the first overall pick. So I said, you have to do your due diligence last year. You have to do it on the quarterbacks because what I've seen of Justin Fields wasn't good enough in the NFL. And I got to give Shayne and Cars. You might have even been on a show with us talking about this because Shayne always put it in this perspective for our fans. And this is the truth. We could pull the clip of it. Phil, but if you trade down and you get those picks, you got to come up with a pick for next year because then you get two shots at what, Phil? Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. That was the sell for me because his question then came back to me like,
I didn't think there was a ghost chance in hell we were going to have number one.
Right. Because I know you're talking about draft. You're talking about trying to move up with I got enough capital to try to get him.
And guess what?
But think about this, Shayne.
Nobody's trading
it. Nobody's trading it.
Nobody's trading it. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to tell these fans.
You may have been in a situation where you could be. Look, they may have been the Patriots, right? Sure. Where you don't have a chance at Drake Maye or Caleb Williams. Basically, how things could fall out depending on how you rate Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels. You could be there, and you could be like, man, we kind of need to move off of our quarterback. But fortunately, the damn Panthers sucked and allowed heaven's gates to open up.
Yeah.
And again, for me,
that,
I get, we deserve more.
I want to say this, Kenneth.
You know the difference.
One last
difference, Kenneth. Just real quick,
asking me.
You know the difference, Kenneth, as Bears fans, and we've all lived our entire lives this way. What is the most Bears thing? We're drafting number 2 this year. And Caleb's
one away.
That's our lives.
You know what? No. I'm gonna double down harder. You know what our thing would be? we would sit. You're right, Shayne. You're right. But you know what we would do? We would draft down and take Bo Nix. Is what they would, and it would be some. It would be right. That's what I'm saying. It'd be so. It'd be so. That's it, Shayne. That's exactly K McNown draft. Because look, they couldn't get up McNabb. They didn't go up. They should have. He's a Catholic League kid. Didn't get McNabb. They could have had Culpepper and moved down and took K. That's what they would have. Right, they could have had Culpepper and was like, "Nah,
I wanted Culpepper."
And by the way,
that was huge.
The slot that they traded out of that year, 1999, the slot that they traded out of, Washington came up and took Champ Bailey.
Come on, dude. Think about that. So that would be, and now to your point, we actually have a chance to get this type of guy. Regardless, look, everybody, I'll say this: there's a chance he may not be as great as what we're saying. That's just the truth. But I'm gonna tell you this: his floor, he's not gonna be true. Only way he's gonna be trash is on him. Which again, it could happen. But when you're talking about, and I get, because we're Bears fans, there's a fear because things don't go right for us. So it's like, man, I don't even want to deal with it because things have never went right. We've never in our lives had a sure shot like this that we've drafted. The closest thing was Jay. And Jay had warts, and I was a Jay guy before when he got here. But when you saw Jay's fundamentals, it was like, this is never going to work or whatever. But even then, we knew Jay's warts, but we were saying, is it Josh McDaniels? What is it this? What is that? This is a guy that we're drafting that even had, and I love Jay at Vandy, it's better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, it's like, oh, I mean, Jay at Vandy was crazy, but better, like this dude is special, and we'll see. We'll look. That's the thing.
You have to take the swing at this.
You have to. It's not a question.
Listen, I'm talking to football people all around here, coaches from college and UConn and Jim Moore Jr. All these people are like, Caleb Williams is on another level than they've ever seen. Like, and in Chicago, the fans are making this a stress when you should be embracing it. So as a young kid on both ends, Justin having frustration, I want to be traded, but I'm following the Bear, all of that. Well, Caleb has that too, coming out of college and have fans attacking him as a person and what have you, because he's about to become the new quarterback of your team. To me, it's just insanity. It's insanity. It's a business. And I've lived the business and the entertainment side of this thing destroying my week because
you should
I
stop.
Can't help it.
I've told you this for years. I've told you for years now.
I can't help it.
I get the passion sells. I need to be more passionate. I know you guys.
Listen.
Maybe that's me. What the hell is going on? Maybe it's me. You know what? It's probably
you're able to compartmentalize.
I need to do better with my life. All right, but it's no dog, because once and again, I'm not being disrespectful, but if you think you have a decent grasp on logic, and I mean, some people don't. All right, but if you have a decent grasp on logic and you look at the facts and you just look, I mean, I think we all have some degree of being able to evaluate talent. And you look at this kid, I don't damn near care who our quarterback will be, to be honest with you. Like, it'll depend on how old the guy is right now. If we had this bite at the apple, depending on some of the better quarterbacks in there, like, you would have to have one of the guys that just signed a contract within the last 5 years for you not to move off of him with this, having this guy coming out right now. That, like, so I'm even saying, take Justin out of it, right? You would have to have youth on that quarterback side, right? And the fact that probably you already got signed him in the last year and a half to a huge deal, so the dead cap money would cripple your organization. So it doesn't even make sense for you to think about making this type of move, to be like, I'm going to move off of this prospect, when you look at what this prospect could possibly be entering the NFL from what he's done in college so far.
I was just looking up some numbers today, that actually I was even surprised by. Do you know once
clarify?
Just
don't
real
get
quick,
so emotional.
Phil.
Oh, you have it. I thought you were needing time.
So Justin got hurt in the first half of the Minnesota game in week 6. And then he missed 4 weeks. And probably people in the chat know, but do you know how many touchdown passes he had after he came back for the rest of the season, Kenneth?
This season?
After week 6.
Was that? Week 6
he got hurt in the first half.
Against Minnesota, he gets hurt. He comes back. How many touchdowns did he throw?
He threw
5
5.
or 6.
5.
5 or 6. Yeah.
He threw
He's
5
lighting up the scoreboard.
He threw 5 touchdowns, threw 3 interceptions, and had 6 fumbles.
And that's not improvement. That's why I've tried to tell people. Like, a lot of these guys, you could fill in the names. I see the chat. Like, bring this guy on. Bring this. They don't watch any tape. They do not watch tape. I'm convinced of it because there's just zero chance that you could sit there and watch 4 games of Caleb Williams and come away with like,
take it away.
Oh, he's not. He's a bust. I'm like, what?
Kenneth, what do you hear when they say that? Like, Greg Gabriel used to work for the Bears, came out and said after the Notre Dame game, Caleb was a different quarterback, a flawed quarterback, and he wasn't the same quarterback that he was before the Notre Dame game. So go ahead.
I just think you have to think about people's biases and why they say the things that they say.
Sure.
Because let me say this real quick.
Psychologist, like, are you a professor? Because
this is the thing.
hire you.
Okay, but like let's just say this.
Mitch needed you.
You're right. You damn right. But let's just say this hypothetically.
Yeah.
Caleb was off after the Notre Dame game, right? If you look at his numbers,
hypothetically, he's saying
you look at his numbers. Still look at his numbers.
Just real quick.
Heisman year.
Do you want him? I got him right here. Can I read him to you? Caleb after the Notre Dame game.
No, just let me finish. And let me rock and then read them. Heisman year, then there. I would still want to talk to Caleb and know what was wrong. I wouldn't take him off of my draft board. There could have been something like, that's especially when you're talking about someone that's supposed to be, now I could be wrong because this is a professional. But for me, when you're still talking about this crazy talent and that there wasn't a precipitous cliff that he fell off of, there'd be different if he had fallen off of a cliff. But but for you to talk like, well, I have to pull him off the board because of this, and he's still being ridiculous, shows me that did you really have him on your, either you quote unquote had him on your board, or you were always looking for a reason why you were going to snatch him off or pull him down on
it comes down to non-football stuff that might not be true. You know what I mean? It started out, he doesn't want to be in Chicago. Right. And then they come, I mean, that literally gets put to rest. And then the fingernails, people were making the crying with his mother,
Adam Schefter that weren't even
people
true.
Giving a shit what he wore in a GQ photo shoot. Who gives a shit?
He can wear that shit every day and twice on Sunday.
You're damn right.
All right. If he does what I need him to do, I can care less.
Yep.
So like, that's the crazy. I'm sorry, Shayne. Go ahead.
Before you read the stats, Shayne, we did the live breakdown of Caleb versus Notre Dame. 2 of the interceptions that were thrown out of the 3 in that game weren't his fault.
On him.
Mm-hmm. Right. So one of them totally was. We went through every.
We'll send him the link and he can see it.
I'm going to let him.
To say Rick Spielman even doubled down on this, and I believe it was Daniel Jeremiah doubled down on it, and they said if you're a scout or an analyst or a GM and you look at Caleb Williams in the Notre Dame game, you throw away the first half and you look at the second half. And they were praising him for what he did in the second half. You know why? Because it didn't become Jay Cutler, where 1 or 2 or 3 interceptions became 4 and 5.
Or he became pouty
meltdown
and disengaged. None of that transpired. But
where he regressed after the Notre Dame game in what was it, 5 games, Phil?
5 games And how many of these players are going to be drafted in the NFL?
I think the
he's
highest
throwing to
draft pick that they'll have is maybe an outside shot. Brendan Rice, maybe a late 3. I say 4th rounder.
He's definitely
anyways,
a 4th rounder.
He was 124.
I have so many people hyping it up. Please continue. I'm with you though. Please continue.
124 for 185, 67% for 1,612 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 5 rushing touchdowns. Those were his numbers after Notre Dame,
where he supposedly lost it.
I mean, dude. Just for me,
there was 3 games, Kenneth, in this season that he was pulled out of the second half
to
let a backup play. So he could have padded his stats again against Nevada.
Like
Jayden
Daniels had 50 total touchdowns, and 34% of his total touchdowns came against Grambling. It was
Georgia Southern,
and Army. 34%.
So we could pad stats.
Is he
talented?
talented?
You know what we say
yes.
here.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. Bears better not be drafting Drake Maye.
Yeah, I'm not.
I love it, guys. I love it. I'm
Better
not the Drake Maye. I hope you know when I mention him, I'm not the Drake Maye guy.
Oh,
there's one.
I was only doing that to cover the bases.
Yeah.
I get on Josh Schrock all the time about Drake Maye and his love of Drake. He only loves him.
We got to get Schrock on here.
We got to get Schrock.
Yeah, I gotta.
We'll give him trust. Yeah, we'll give him the Schrock and all when we show him the game tape.
We just did Drake Maye's tape this past Monday. This is the difference. Seriously, if you're a patron, respond in the chat. I know Sean Stewart's there and Bullet. Watching the Caleb Williams breakdown, any of them that we did, we were going to do chapter 4 and that'll be it. And then we'll bring it back obviously later. But the difference between Drake Maye and Tim Hasselbeck's number 1 quarterback and getting paid by his agent to say it, I believe, versus Caleb Williams, it's like you have to be in some sort of insanity.
And Nate
it's night and day. It's like watching Michael Jordan and watching Roy Marble from the Iowa Hawkeye. It's
Nate Tyson's been on Drake Maye since last summer, and I said it when I'm like, I felt like I was missing something. I talked to Matt. I love
you, dude. I was watching it harder this week, Shane, because I'm like, I gotta be. I'm not missing shit. I was like,
it's inaccurate.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I'm not. That's
how do you just love him and not me? No, I'm getting offended here.
I am doing you wrong. I'm doing you wrong.
I agree with you.
Phil and I are on opposite sides of the fence here, Kenneth, because I'm in the camp, and it's time to move on from Justin. But if for whatever reason the Bears said that they aren't drafting Caleb, then I'm going to trade down and I'm staying with Justin. I'm not drafting Drake Maye. I'm not drafting Jayden Daniels. I'm going to try to buy time, and people. I would be way more interested in signing Kirk Cousins and having JJ McCarthy sitting on the bench behind him for a year or 2 than.
And I would hate that.
Oh no! I get it, but that's
what you're saying. But the logic in what you're saying, and see, that's why I love him. But no, look, the logic. I'm with him. If I'm not moving off of Justin. I mean, if I'm not drafting Caleb, I don't think I'm going to sit there and try to see what I can build around Justin. And then because I'm moving back, I may not draft a quarterback next year. I'm going to try to make sure I can set it up again for the foreseeable future to try to get that guy now that I've built this roster around. But that's what all the problem with what the Justin people are saying, that'd be cool if Caleb wasn't there.
Well, Trubisky's a free agent too, Kenneth, so we could go grab that.
You gotta get our hands
burn the fucking city down. Let's just go all in.
I'm team Justin trade. Jayden Daniels is my number 2 to Caleb, and I would take Jayden. I think it's time to move off of Justin.
He's my number 2, but I don't trust. See, the problem is I don't trust him, and I don't trust he's going to stay healthy with that frame.
His slight frame.
I just don't, and it'd be like just
210. I don't even see
that. No, and it'd be different.
Plays strong.
That's
It's not like
that's
he-
Well, it's
that's
easy
the
when you're up
problem.
40.
That's the point.
No, but he
That's
still
Phil,
puts
you
his
just
face in there. I'm
that's the
just saying.
problem.
I know that's what you're afraid of.
Because
They would have to.
But that's on him. Phil. That's how he plays.
That's how he plays. They would
The
have
type
to
of
be
hits he
very
was
nervous.
taking was like, whoa, kid.
That's-
Like he thinks he's Jerome Bettis or something.
Put his face into Alabama's linebackers, and I'm like, this kid is a tough kid.
Do it right. What? But to me,
What did he do on 4th and 1 against Bama, Phil?
Oh,
he's my second. He's
4th and 1. He had to the flat, just easy. Like Caleb just misses it, bro.
He's as close to Justin as
I think he's a better thrower than Justin.
You think
I'll show it.
Maybe overall, but he still struggles short to intermediate big time.
His struggle is the velocity in this short area. I can
Chuck,
fix
I'm
that.
not building around Kirk Cousins, but I just said I'm buying time. Jesus, you gotta listening is a skill.
He's
Chuck,
saying if we were to
you draft
some
JJ
reason-
McCarthy. Listen, for whatever reason, if I'm on record.
Shayne was
saying
basically saying you're building around JJ. You're just giving
you're building
JJ
around
a
JJ.
year.
He's 20 years old. He can't start him.
I love JJ.
I don't know how the
McCarthy,
fuck
but
anybody's going to start Drake May year 1. That's
no
where
fucking
I'm at.
way.
I don't think you can.
That
I don't think you can.
I'm telling you, guys get paid by agents to say shit on these national television shows, or they're just completely misinformed. You're not watching anything. It's asinine. Now, Kenneth, I know it's 9:30. We've kept you for an hour. I don't want to overstep.
She'll appreciate it.
I just am cold. You said I want to come on as early as I can. Shayne's texting me.
He wants to get back and watch some Shohei highlights. That Dodger uniform.
I'm gonna send you our patron to your email. Can you text me your email? Because for some reason it's not popping up. And what I'll do is I'll send you our shows that we've done of Caleb at Oklahoma.
Add me in the text so I can text my guy because we don't talk enough, Kenneth. I'm never on Instagram and I'm not on Facebook anymore. So
I'll put it right here
to you,
so I don't forget.
Yeah,
I thought you
had
had
to work on my mental health. See, you know what I mean?
I understand.
They're
But I'll
moving
tell you
on.
what, we
without
draft
me.
Caleb Williams. I am going on a smarmy bitch tour live on air.
Oh, look, I started today. I look because it's like I've been laying chilling. I was like, it's over. Like just for everybody's like, it's the stop. It's over. They're going to draft him. Let it go.
Did you see the way we started off the show? Did you happen to see it? I said to Phil, I've been sitting on this for a while. I'll play it for you before you leave.
Play it for a few of these.
This is the way that we started off the show just to fire up the masses a little bit.
He threw that first one with his hip open and didn't twist his hip for twerk, and it was still an accurate dart. Do you know how crazy that is for you to do that?
Whenever you watch him on coach's tape, I've said it 100 times when we've been on here with our patrons. His head is on a gimbal. Everything is moving, but his head, it's unbelievable.
He threatens the line of scrimmage like Aaron Rodgers would, but he's a 20-time better athlete. Like he can just take off and just run. He's not that far from Justin as a runner. Justin is better than him. He ain't Justin.
Justin's freaky, but he doesn't have to be. The thing is, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be that. He's not. He doesn't have to.
I want to, before we let you go, I want to. My father's 83 years old. He's been Hall of Fame head coach. He's gotten so many offers to go to the NFL and head coach in college. And he stayed as a high school coach because he didn't want to uproot his family. So he's telling this story. I'm old. I can't stay up to watch Caleb Williams on the West Coast. I fall asleep. So what am I getting into here? I go down.
You shit in your hat and get the hell off the field.
I'm not going to send you any of the film yet. I want you to enjoy it while we go and just interact. You'll see it. Interject when you want to. I mean, he's just like, this is his game tape. It looks like a highlight. This is 2 hours of what he's doing, his footwork. Do you realize what you're seeing here? He's like, it's unbelievable. Like, he's never seen anything like it. So he calls me all the time. He's like, I still can't get over the ability that he had to push back. And you said it right. Like Dan Marino, he would just push back, slide up in the pie. His head's still there. Then he just clocks out and jumps in the air and just whips a ball with it's like nothing you can coach. It's outrage. And to hear my dad's excitement, it's just another box that I check. It's like, finally, we can have that in Chicago. And to your point, which you said back earlier, like when he whips that ball off an angle at Soldier Field, I don't care who he's playing, but we'll just use the Packers. And he's throwing to whoever, Tyler Scott, running a deep freaking post. And nobody sees it because here's Cole Kmet wide open. And he passes over that and just flicks a dime 48 yards and hits Tyler Scott in the back of the end zone. Those moments that have crucified us will be the ones crucifying other people, other programs in the NFL.
Kenneth, real quick before we let you go, who are you hoping for at number 9? Because I heard people talking today. They're like, this is the most untalked about first round draft pick in the history of ever. The number 9 overall pick nobody talks about. And it's true. It's true. We're guilty.
You know what?
We have 2 picks. It's crazy, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say that I would put this probably in this order. Rome would be my first number 9 guy that I would want them to go with. Then I think I will go with Joe Alt, or it's a mixture of Latu and Dallas, but it's the neck, and then
I can't do it.
At the neck, that's the problem where it's like, and I know it's been 2 years, but you never know when that could. I mean, I don't care what side of the trenches. It's the trenches part is what makes it extremely scary feel to where in football in general you could get a neck injury, but when you're playing in the trenches, that you're colliding head. That happens on. You don't even know. Just from being a lineman, you don't even know you're hitting heads half the damn time you're hitting heads.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the thing where it's like that, like it could just happen, and not like he would be the preference, but the neck thing would scare me off of him if I'm being honest. Then it would probably be, like I say, it could be Roll Tide with Dallas. Then I could see if you want to go with Neighbors. And I know there's the Neighbors being similar to DJ, but the thing is, when you're looking at this NFL today, even though I do want a big catch radius guy to go on the opposite side of DJ, it's not as imperative as what it was 10 years ago when you're talking about jamming on the line and how the rules are. So it still getting a guy that could be a freak at receiver would definitely be kind of a benefit. If they move down a couple slots, it wouldn't be crazy for me or whatever to see what they would do. I would wonder really what they view the depth on wide receiver. Like I wonder where they are with their top, I'll say 6 wide receivers, because Marvin Harrison is in there. They know they're not getting Marvin Harrison Jr.
They're not getting Neighbors either.
They're not getting 2 of them for sure. Yeah. I'll put it like that. They're not getting 2 of them. So that's where I would like to see where their guys are and where they're looking at if they do get a second round pick. What happens with Justin or whatever? If they're looking at, okay, this is where in this draft we may be able to get Xavier Legarrette, the kid out of South Carolina. Leggett, yeah, like just if you're looking at trying to get one of those guys in the second.
What about my guy?
Yeah, look, up there from y'all and Wallop or wherever the hell before he went down there to Florida State. Yeah, another guy that I would be interested in. As far as but to answer your question, if you can get your receiver first to go with that quarterback, yes. Then trenches.
What about Bowers, real quick? If he was there, say they put 2-3 receivers went off the board, would you?
Shayne Waldron,
took Bowers.
Shayne Waldron would have to really be adept at making sure he can do a lot of ill things out of. And I'm not because you could do it with him with what he does, because you could split him out, you could put him in H, you could do so many different, but you need a guy that's going to use him. So that's where Phil
Waldron does that stuff.
I know he does, but even when we're looking at, and I know it has to do with talent, but even if we're looking at the Seahawks didn't have those type of tight ends.
No.
So I still don't know all of what he would do with that type of talent. So that's where I don't know if I want to sink that guy. I'm not against it. I'm not, but because I think he's freaky enough to where I could see doing it.
Because you could put him at receiver.
You can play him all the time with already playing Cole.
Exactly.
You can play him.
I'm gonna throw a name out there real quick. And last year at this time, if somebody said Darnell Wright at this time, at number 9 after the Bears made the trade, there was a lot of people that thought Darnell Wright was going to be a 3rd or even a 2nd round draft pick. But there's a guy out there that nobody's talking about, and it is a defensive player that I'll bet a large sum of money that's going to go a lot higher than anybody thinks right now. Draft day comes around, and I'll just say, don't forget the name Byron Murphy from Texas.
Okay.
Defensive tackle, yeah.
Sit on that one. I'm telling you.
Look, me personally too, while we're doing that, and again, this may be second rounders, I'm partial to the edge rushers out of Penn State this year with the decent chop.
I'm a decent over chop guy.
A lot of people like
over chop.
Yeah. But I'm with the value. I could see them grabbing one of those guys, perhaps depending on where they fall in the second day of the draft.
Well, Kenneth, we appreciate your time. I always love having you come on here. They call me Draft Doctor. Tonight, it was Dr. Davis.
Kenneth told you who he loves.
I see. I gave the bromance their number.
I put it in there. I said, you gave me the number. Now you can get out of the conversation, Phil.
Listen, I appreciate you guys. Always a great time being here. I hope both of your families are doing well. I can't wait till the next time. I know this season was terrible, so there's no reason for you to come here. But I can't wait till you're back within the city and we can hang out. Everybody be safe. And it's not as busy. It's not that serious, y'all. It's just a little bit of sports and football.
Can't wait for it.
Appreciate it, man.
Imagine if we didn't have it. This would be.
No, that'd be. This is a great. But it's how you it's how you use it. You know what I'm saying? It's how you take it. Because at the end of the day, these people don't care about us. Not the people here.
Right.
The people we're watching and how we're fussing with each other over people that don't. This is a bigger discussion, but we're fussing over each other.
That needs to be its own show.
I walked into a place the other day and I look over and there was an Athlon Draft magazine with dated information in it, and I'm like, I gotta buy it. I just got to, you know what I mean? But I love it. I wouldn't want it. Everybody's like, I'm so nauseated by this. I get nauseated, but if we didn't have it, it'd be terrible. Yeah, best medicine for all of us. I was going to say as dudes, but for all of us, it's the best medicine for all of us. Take a little time out watching sports, particularly with now what this could be. They do have better players in position. Let's see what they can do this season. Can't wait.
Hopefully, we could get you on draft night as Every
You know
year
what?
we have you on at some point. It could be
Now,
the
but
second day.
It could be the second day because
Yeah.
now usually they're gonna have me in studio, like we're doing some stuff like last year. But you know what? Depending on how late y'all run, I may try to pop in.
How late we run?
Night.
You know that's gonna be
If
real
we
late.
draft Caleb and Odunze, we'll be there all night.
But I also will jump in during the days for us during the recap.
Yes.
Or whatever. I'll make sure I jump in. Yeah.
Can't wait for Kenneth to say, I can't believe these motherfuckers drafted Drake May.
Then I will be draft Dr. Phil. Then emotions and rage. You're like, Ken, I thought you were supposed to be calm. Calm. Like, yeah, totally. But
all right,
Kenneth.
Check him out under center on NBC Sports Chicago and That Davis Show. Check it out there. You find him on Instagram at That Davis. Kenneth, thank you so much for your time tonight, bro. And tell Schrock we want to get him on the show.
I'll tell him. You got to pull it, but I'll let him know. I'll be like, my guy said he wants you on. I'll let him know.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
I just saw him for the first time. All I kept hearing about is Shayne and Cox telling me about this guy Schrock.
He's got the best Twitter at Schrock and Awe. That's the.
Oh yeah,
that's good. That's good. All right, brother.
Be safe.
Tell the wife I said hello too, and your family
Back
as well.
at you. Back at you.
God bless you, man.
Thanks,
great. Kenneth Davis, man.
Love
Bringing
it. Always love
some passion.
Chopping it up with him. So, do you want me to send out that link to?
Yeah, I texted
our former.
Yes, I texted him.
The original before the
original trio. The original trio might get back together. I'm not talking about this guy right there.
Hey, boys.
This is our original trio right here. Oh my God. Oscar Styles, $4.99. Out of all the experts, I have yet to hear any of them say Justin has great rhythm, timing, or anticipation. Yes, we've said that.
And if they are saying that, they are not experts.
They probably aren't experts, and they probably have a mock draft with a center at 9. That's what I will say about that. Fucking drafts a center at 9. Could you imagine? Gerald Smith, $4.99. This is not a battle between Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. This is a battle between Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Tandem with the talents of Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is Steve Young and Marvin is Jerry Rice. Gerald Smith.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
No. I don't see it either. No, I mean on either. I
don't see Jerry and I don't see Steve Young.
Yeah. I just listen, is Marvin Harrison, if the Bears ended up with Marvin Harrison Jr. somehow, I'm obviously not going to be upset, but I just don't know how you're putting I mean, people have him as a bona fide shoe-in for the Hall of Fame. And Phil, you've heard me talk about it. I'm not a generational talent guy. When everybody says, oh, you got to get, hashtag the Hall. I sent out a tweet yesterday. I think the Hall is just as dumb as saying generational. It's a fucking label to make you feel about whatever your stance is. And none of them are needed. How about just let's get a quarterback in here that makes the right plays and does what we need to do on a consistent basis. How about some consistency? Hashtag consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Young was a late bloomer, a little bit, right? Slowed, so I guess maybe he's coming from that perspective. But I mean, that's a big
that was also
stretch to get to Steve
Young. It's also in the 80s, and it's a totally different world with fifth-year options and
Ben Hooper, $4.99. He's talking about my comment exactly. Marino could put it in any spot. Might have had the absolute quote unquote strongest arm, but I'll tell you what,
his arm up there with anybody.
He would I think he would outthrow
Yeah, you need a hole in some plywood. He was your guy with a football. Fucking throw it right through it.
Motherfucker, holy shit.
3/4 inch.
I think I saw him recently say that if I was playing in this fucking league now, I'd throw for 6,000 yards.
Yeah.
And he is probably not lying. Like,
no,
swinging it.
He's probably the best thrower of the football that I've seen. And then Warren Moon right behind him. Those two, like the prettiest balls thrown. Don't clip that.
Do you know what pick he was taken by and what number pick he was with the Dolphins?
Marino?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 20s.
Yeah.
He went because he had a
27.
bad.
Yeah.
Listen, there was information about him. He was a pot smoker.
You gotta watch
Hey,
that.
he's a pot smoker.
You gotta watch that documentary, Elway to Marino.
Oh, yes. That's on Disney Plus too now.
There's a clip in there of the Bears had a deal in place with the Raiders.
Can you imagine?
That
For
ended up
Howie
with
Long.
Yeah, the Bears would have gotten Howie Long back in the deal. Because they
needed
to come,
right?
they needed to come away with 2 earlier picks so they could send it to Baltimore for Elway. And
Elway, that was it. They were on Elway.
And so the big rumor is, and they talk about it on here, is that Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of the NFL at the time, said there's no fucking way, because they were in litigation against, Al Davis was suing the NFL at the time, and Pete Rozelle said there's no fucking way that we're gonna let Elway go to the Raiders and let them get this guy with everything that was going on. So they called Chicago, and Chicago said, they gave Chicago like 2 tiers, and they said to pick a player from each tier. And then Chicago supposedly said, well, we thought you said we could take 2 players from either tier. So that's kind of how it fell apart.
Mo is bringing up a great point that gets forgotten from this year.
Yeah.
Great job, Mo. And for those of you listening on the pod, $1.99, Muhammad Elmi, our guy. Justin Fields versus Northwestern is way worse than Caleb Williams versus Notre Dame. Again, the difference here is we're not trying to tear Justin down.
Right.
It comes off that way sometimes because you're dealing with a constant.
And we think there's a better option.
Because of the better option. But I also have to be honest in my analysis of Justin Fields because there's a lot of misinformed fans.
By the way, just to give you Mo's numbers, or that he's talking about Jordan Justin versus Northwestern, he was 12 of 27, 44.4%, 114 yards, 2 interceptions, 12 rushes, 35 yards for a 2.9 average.
And Northwestern was not ranked. That will tell you all.
He had a big bounce back the next week, though. I'll tell you that.
He didn't get crushed?
No, that was the Clemson game. 22 of 28 for 385 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Bad games are going to happen. They just are. If you're consistently struggling, that's where the concerns, the red flags fly up, and you're checking the tape to see what's truly going on. As Kerry Franklin is throwing $50. Thank you, Kerry. As many Justin Fields on draft night with so much hope for the Bears. Unfortunately, his play in 39 games proved that wrong. Now, Caleb Williams is the apparent next great QB1 for the Bears. I will be stoked and hope his play brings the Bears where we all want, Super Bowl wins.
Amen.
And
that's it.
Where you were coming from quarterback wise is a big reason why we were so excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you didn't have Justin Fields and Andy Dalton was still here at this point, and you had the number 1 pick and Caleb Williams was available, we would lose our fucking minds on draft night.
Twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ben Hooper's back, $1.09. What are we getting for Fields in a trade?
I don't know. There's things that are all over there's a rumor that, a third has been offered from Atlanta.
Second from Pitt. what I
we'll
heard.
see, and I've heard that Pittsburgh's not involved.
Yeah.
Then you hear they're not involved. Raiders are involved.
Seattle.
We've heard
one of the rumors.
about...
One of the rumors was that an Atlanta deal could be 43 and a flip flop in the first round with 8 and 9.
Yep.
So you'd move up one spot. You'd go from 9 to 8, and you'd get 43, and they'd get Justin Fields. Which
I would take that.
I would take that deal right now.
Not a fit with.
I would take it
though.
tonight.
He's a rhythm passer type of guy, and Fields is not that.
And
right?
I told Phil this, and we can talk about
Arthur Smith's his guy.
I told Phil this last night, and then a couple other people, and I'll talk about it with our guest that just confirmed that he'll be right there. I think you're going to end up hearing a Jalen Johnson extension that's the tag is due by the 5th, but I think you're going to hear a Jalen Johnson extension the same time you hear about a Justin Fields trade, because it kind of counterbalances the drama within the locker room. It sends a message to your locker room that we're going to take care of if you produce, we're going to take care of you financially. And by the way, by the way, but you know what I mean? And Jalen Johnson's been one of the most. Jalen Johnson's been one of the most outspoken players that the Bears have. And what's he going to say? Oh, we love Justin. He was a great teammate, a great brother, but this is a business. That's about all you're going to get out of him after the Bears pay him. Yeah. After a Justin Fields trade.
DJ Moore's going to be pissed after the trade, after he came out again and doubled down on that. You just think he was just answering a question? I mean,
he's doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, people brought up Laiatu Latu today, and what did he say? Best quarterback I faced? Yeah, Caleb Williams.
By far.
Yeah,
and then he goes, Bo Nix was good, and Penix is good, but Caleb Williams by far. Mark McGowan, $5. Justin Fields will be a borderline starter. He's too stubborn to change his mechanics. Think Poles trades Justin Fields in the first pick. Learned so much from this podcast. Thank you. Do we think Poles trades Justin Fields in the first pick? Is that what he's asking, or is he stating?
No, I think the
thing you just said.
No. Greg Gabriel said that he talked to somebody, and this was, he quantified it as later as it just being a rumor that's going around there. That he had originally said that the Bears were going to trade down and build around Justin, but he said now I'm hearing, and then he quantified like an hour later that it was just a rumor. From somebody.
Okay, but you've already
the Bears' plan was to trade number 1 and also trade Justin Fields. So that would point to them believing in
trade and trade.
Yeah.
Are we fucking dumb here?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Click.
Jeez.
That's what that is, Phil.
Like
Come
the
look
stupidity.
At me.
It's the same thing as Jayden Daniels. Some people have Shayne said it great in a text to me, because the draft does this shit every year. They're going to try to pump up Ryan Leaf. They're going to try to pump up another guy against Trevor Lawrence. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
For the record, we had Zach Wilson not in our top 5.
No, we had him
might
as
have been 5th.
We had him as QB6.
Yeah, QB6. It was just like, we don't go with consensus. We go with the tape. That's the difference. I challenge any of you from other shows, other Bears content creators, get your tape together to show me what you are saying and seeing. Get that together, because all this tape you're grinding and all this tape you're reviewing and coming with these grandiose statements, and I'm talking about whoever your quarterback prospect is in the draft or Justin Fields, because I see a lot of emotion and a lot of bullshit. And I'm not Kenneth Davis. I cannot compartmentalize the emotion that the Bears have abused me with for my life. And I can't compartmentalize the work that I've done on these things, because that's a huge part of my life. This isn't a shot at Jackal. He's just here. But Chris Jackal is not going to go home after the Bears lose and go watch tape of why and watch Justin Fields over and over and put together the clips and put it all together and go over it. He just doesn't do that. He's on to the next week or busting balls or worrying about his fantasy football team or talk. Right. So when you do this shit for a living, like our next guest does, some people can pass over. But I challenge you and these Bears content creators taking subtle shots at Shayne and me, and I'm fine with it. Bring the tape of Justin Fields and his improvement. Bring the showcase of his mechanics and his ability to pass and anticipate really well and do all these things that we're showing you, not putting up a, what is that fucking slideshow app? What was that shit?
I don't know.
Give a speech in front of the, what was that computer thing? Fuck.
I'm completely lost.
It's a Windows thing. I know our guest knows.
Our guest is like, I remember this shit 10 years ago.
PowerPoint?
PowerPoint. Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Hey.
That's like
Some
a thing.
These motherfuckers are putting up PowerPoints. Has great arm strength.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Works well. They're not showing you shit.
I just got a text from our guest. And he said he
Let's
is
get him.
Rooney once again. So
he is
let's get to
Rooney.
it.
Let's remove our producer and friend and bring back the trio. This is where it all began, right here. Lorin Cox, what's up, man?
Howdy, fellas. Sitting here at the JW Marriott in Indianapolis. I hope you guys know I'm standing at the bar. On my left was Chicago Bears assistant running backs coach Jennifer King. On my right was Minnesota Vikings quarterbacks coach Josh McCown. So I left some real celebrities here to come talk to you guys.
Nice.
The two starving artists.
Former coach of JJ McCarthy in high school, correct?
I believe so.
Josh McCown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Josh McCown.
He's a good dude.
In fact, I was hoping the Bears would be interested in bringing him in for an interview for OC. Shayne actually gave me that thought when there was rumors in the wind of him being head coach with the Texans at one point. Anyway,
so, Lorin, let's start out where everybody's starting out. I mean, Trenton Gill, is he going to be here next year, or what's going on, man?
Competition's coming, man. It's coming. Tory Taylor in the third round. Watch out.
Yes. Not that high. My son actually took him that high in a Madden draft.
Yikes.
Ground his ass, man.
I told him. Lorin, where are you, though, here? Obviously.
Oh, that's right. I said JJ McCarthy. I meant Drake Maye, my bad. With Josh McCown.
Oh, with Josh McCown, sure.
Yeah.
Josh McCown with Drake Maye.
He's a Carolina guy. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where are you, Lorin, there in regards to the situation brewing in Chicago? Caleb Williams coming to Chicago, is that what first we'll start with what your thoughts are, then what you're hearing? What is
Yeah, I'm all in on Caleb as the quarterback upgrade is necessary. Like it's very clear that Justin's going to be traded. It's just a matter of what they do from there for sure. But like sometime in the next couple of weeks, that's going to happen. And Caleb is your best swing at greatness. I mean, he's your Hall of Fame home run kind of shot at quarterback. Gives you the best chance of finding that guy that can be the true difference maker, that can elevate you and make you feel like the Bengals do with Burrow or the Chiefs do with Mahomes, where it's like any time in the game, if you're not down more than 3 scores or whatever, like you always feel like you always still have a chance to win until that clock actually hits 0.
And no doubt, man. I know you watch the tape. So
right.
That's why it's so important. Before you, we had Kenneth Davis on before you, and I was telling the story of my dad. And, I don't know if you've spoken to my dad before, but we've never had you interact with him. And he was just blown away.
That's not
by
Phil's dad.
Jackal's appearance. No, he was blown away by Caleb Williams because he's like, I'm 83. I don't get to stay up that late. So Shayne and I took 8 games of Caleb Williams, and it was a long what 52 minutes of tape that we broke down with him, and he was just like, this is like a fucking highlight reel. And he was telling me not to swear, but he had to swear in it. You've seen it. When you mentioned Hall of Fame, I mean, go ahead.
I say if you listen to certain former NFL executives who are popular on Bears Twitter, they tell you Caleb Williams wasn't any good after the Notre Dame game, even though he had a bunch of great touchdowns and looked just as good after the Notre Dame game. But
I just shared the numbers.
We shared the numbers.
The exact numbers are right here, Lorin. It's 124 for 185, 67%, 1,612 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception with
not the same guy.
Touchdowns.
Yeah, not the same guy.
You are maybe a little bit over Kenneth because you have some of you're more calm is what I'm saying. I can't take the lies and those manipulations like that. I have to shut them down, but I can't compartmentalize them because I feel like it's so fraudulent and it's so negligent to the Chicago Bears fan that they misinform these things when we're doing the work and like, wait a second, this dude might have played some of his best game after a Washington game and a loss when he's with his mom.
Lorin, I'm sure
the second half,
even the Notre Dame game, they're like I said, they're making it out to be like it was just this catastrophic disaster, and it's just it's not there on tape at all.
Interception. Oh no, bad. He threw a couple bad picks this season for sure. Every single quarterback in the NFL does a couple. Patrick Mahomes throws a couple bad interceptions every year. Like it's called quarterback. Like that's just how the position works.
Without a doubt. Now you're down there. Are you hearing anything in regards to what team possibly Justin Fields is going to be traded to, and kind of where his worth might be?
I haven't heard much as far as a worth, but everyone is talking about Atlanta down here. That seems to be like there seems to be a split because I think Arthur Blank wants Kirk Cousins and feels this pressure to we want to win now, but I think the staff with Zach Robinson feels like, man, if we could take this quarterback with this kind of athletic tools, we can scheme and talent him to passing success. Just what fine. The Bears weren't doing that nearly well enough, but now we've got receivers and a running back and a scheme that'll work really well for him, and his legs can be on top of that. I think they're falling in love with that as their ticket to get something that feels like more of a difference maker at quarterback. But Arthur Blank is feeling father time and wanting let me get this guy to win now. Let's shoot for the Super Bowl window now, even though the team is still really young, and I think there's a time to sort of mature with Justin Fields, but they don't want to necessarily be patient with that. So there's certainly a battle going back and forth there, but I think Atlanta's probably where it ends up. And I also think that when Ryan Poles talks about doing right by Justin Fields,
right,
I can't help but feel like it's similar to Jimmy Garoppolo with Bill Belichick, where it's maybe we'll take the slightly less good deal to send you to a place that you want to go to help you out, as maybe Pittsburgh is offering slightly more or whatever team, but we'll take Atlanta's deal because you're from there, you're a Falcons fan, and you want to go to that team. All right, Justin, maybe it's a second and a fifth instead of second and a fourth, but we'll make that sacrifice for you because it's worth it to us to show our players and show the league that we take care of our players.
So Lorin, Phil and we don't agree on this, and like I said, I think that the Bears are staying at 1, and I'm a Caleb Williams fan too, but let's just say they, for whatever reason, they did decide that Caleb is not our guy. Now, beyond that, I'm trading down but I'm staying with Justin. Are you in that camp, or are you moving on to Drake Maye or to Jayden Daniels or, JJ McCarthy or what's your take there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
just doing it to buy more time because I'm after Caleb Williams. I'm not holy shit, I got to have this guy on any of these guys.
I feel similarly, and yet I certainly don't look at a next quarterback class and feel like, oh, I can get a good one. I love there. No, so I feel like I don't know that I want to just run everything back with Fields. I want to at least have a shot at a quarterback, but I feel similarly I'm not in love with Drake Maye. I'm not in love with Jayden Daniels. it's worth. I mean, they're worth a shot, but like, is that the shot I really want to go all in on? If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm kind of putting my job on the line that this has got to be the quarterback, and I'm not ready to put my job on the line for either of those quarterbacks. But that's kind of the murmur down here is that like maybe like I think it's still like the Bears are probably going to take Caleb Williams, but there's also this feeling like the Bears are perfectly happy having everyone think they love Caleb Williams.
Sure.
And if they end up loving Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels more, they're perfectly happy having everyone think they love Caleb so they can get a better offer to move down just 1 or 2 spots. Like no one thinks they're going to actually move down. Like it's definitive. They're trading Justin Fields and they're drafting a quarterback. But the question is a little bit, is it Caleb at 1 or is it Drake Maye plus picks from Washington or Jayden Daniels plus picks from Washington at 2? And it's still good. It's still going to be Caleb at 1, but like, it sounds like there's some real legs to them actually strongly considering and making sure, okay, is Caleb the guy that we for sure want? Or is Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels close enough that you add some draft picks in there or maybe a player from Washington or whatever that, okay, we'd take our second choice at QB, but get some extra stuff on top of it and feel like those guys are close enough anyway that they're both special. I hope not, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah. So who would you be? Where are you at with Drake Maye versus Jayden Daniels?
Oh, I'm definitely Drake Maye above both. Like I get the mobility with Jayden for sure, and like it's fun. Like he was a great college quarterback, but I'm not sure that means
Jayden Daniels to me is Justin Fields.
A lot of similarities. That's I mean he's but like more frail and takes bigger hits. Like somebody I was talking to somebody that like if he goes to Washington at 2, like that's going to be RG3 all over again. He's going to take some hits and get blown up. Like not that they're the exact same skill set, but the same like how the career's going to go. Like he's just going to die with all the hits he's taken out there. He's going to fall apart. Like he's got the arm, he's got the mobility, but he's not consistently thrown over the middle of the field. He's not being asked to go through a lot of progressions. I think he can, but much like Justin, it's like he can, but how consistently will he be able to do that at the pro level? I've got questions. He's a guy I would want to sit for at least a year, if not a couple of years, to really kind of work that out. And the Bears are just not in that position right now. I mean, hell, I'd sit Caleb if I could, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
I would be devastated if they mess this up. I just think it's Michael Jordan. You and I have been on the phone twice when the Bears have destroyed Phil and Lorin. Once with the Bears thinking
that one time we thought we were getting Solomon Thomas for about a 45-second span there.
First it was Laramie Tunsil. They passed and took Leonard Floyd. Then it was we thought they were trading up for Deshaun Watson and obviously Mitch Trubisky. I think the third time's the charm, and they're sitting there with the first overall pick. Caleb Williams, clearly, honestly, Caleb Williams is far and away the best quarterback in this draft. Anybody else saying different is lying because I just don't see it. I just don't. Are you there with me on that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like that's what you gotta do. And I feel like Ryan Poles is smart enough, like not to overthink this. Like it's felt like general managers in the past, especially Ryan Pace, like when you have so much time with a decision like this, they end up kind of overthinking it and kind of running through it over. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we could trade down to 2 and get an extra couple picks and take this quarterback. And it's like, no, even if you honestly, like if you like Drake Maye more than Caleb Williams, I don't agree, but like, then just take him at 1. Like why are we trying to make this overcomplicated thing? If there's a quarterback that you think is your franchise guy, just take him at 1. It should be Caleb, but Ryan, my point being Ryan Poles, like he's very deliberate. He's very intentional. He's not trying to be the smartest man in the room. No offense, Shayne, but he's not trying to be the smartest guy in the league. Like Ryan Pace was always that guy, right? He's going to make the smart move. And you always felt like he was trying to outsmart everybody else and show the league how smart he was. And like Poles is just like, you know what? No, we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to check all the boxes on these guys. We're going to make sure. But then we're just going to take Caleb because it's the smart thing to do, and we don't need to consternate about this for 3 more months.
So I'll go off topic. Like I said, I think we've beaten the ever-loving shit out of this topic, and I have people...
Back to Trenton Gill?
Yeah. But it seems lately there's been people that think that the Bears are going to dump some free agency dollars maybe into the running back market. I just don't... I'm not there, Lorin, but I've heard people talking about that. I've heard, people that I actually respect and think that it would be a great choice. Are you there at all? I mean, I know I'm not, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, like so it wouldn't be my choice at all. I do feel like they're in a better position to do so now than last year. Like I wouldn't want them to, and I don't think they will. But it's like, okay, you could probably fill most of your holes on your roster for relatively reasonable salary and have some money left over to potentially sign a running back. Like I think it wouldn't be devastating to their offseason. But it's not like they sign Saquon Barkley and then, oh no, we can't get a center or a safety or a wide receiver. Like I think you could fill everything and get a running back and get away with it. But like I would rather just get a better center or a better safety and better wide receivers than get a lesser player at those positions to save room to get a running back like Saquon Barkley, which I get it would be exciting and stuff, but like between Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson and certainly the Seattle staff, I'm sure likes Travis Homer from working with him in Seattle. Like I think they're going to be perfectly content with this backfield. And hey, draft one on day 3. I might as well add another back. Yeah, like if Braylon Allen is definitely my guy, but I think he's going to end up going earlier than people think. Like
Bill hates him, so you guys can debate that.
I don't know that he'd be I don't know about the scheme fit in Shane Waldron's offense, but as a prospect, like he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's a grown man. I watched him in high school just run over.
The youngest player I think he's the youngest player in the draft, right?
He enrolled at Wisconsin at 17. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
I don't hate him.
I know. I'm just trying to get you fired up over there.
I do love the kid from Notre Dame a lot, but Estime. And I also really like Shayne's guy from Tennessee and Rice from Kentucky. The kid from Kentucky. His last name's Rice, right? Why do I always mess this kid's name up? Running back.
I'm not deep on the running back class.
Well, I've been looking at because I do think it's a need.
It's a Davis.
Davis.
Right?
Why do I have Rice in my head? Ray Davis. And there's another kid that I really think is underrated. Shayne's going to break my balls, but the kid from Missouri, Schrader, I think has that determination and all of the abilities that you look for. He's got great hands. He's got great feet and movement, run instincts. I think he's a hell of a lot better than signing a free agent. You get a kid like that, Estime or Schrader. But let me ask you this, because I
Lorin, you had no idea that you're going to come on here and Phil was going to pub a white kid at running back, right? Aren't you totally shocked by that?
I knew it was coming.
I thought it'd be Blake Corum, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know, either one. Yeah.
Next, he's going to pick out a small slot that he loves.
Schrader is a fucking great running back. Anyway,
So
Lad
McConkey or Ricky Pearsall? Is that
Right.
which receiver?
I love both of those guys, so we could joke about it.
What do you think of this? I just heard this down at the bar. I just heard like 20 minutes ago. I heard a comp for Lad McConkey. I want to throw at you, Eddie Royal. Got some vertical speed. Slot guy, gets open, blocks the hell out of the running game. Like I don't love it. It's not my comp, but it was Trevor Sikkema from PFF. I'll give him full credit for that comp, but he wasn't like endorsing that. Like, but it's just funny as like that's an interesting name to think about.
Yeah,
Lad has some Victor Cruz in him. He's got that I want the fucking ball all over, and I like that. He is very high on my
higher than
receiver
people
list.
think too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's got that determination. That the same thing I was telling Kenneth about. Like, there's certain players that jump off of the tape that have this heart to win. You could just see it. At least I can see it. I know other people that have said the same. I totally see what you're saying. Lad has that. So does Pearsall as well.
The other thing with Pearsall, you can't if he gets jammed in the line of scrimmage, it's game over. But if he has a free release, you're done. You're toast.
Yes, you got to move him until you're 100% right. Till he gets a little stronger in his understanding of his movement out of that. Well, I can get him open. We'll get there. But I love the talent there. What is your take with 9? The ninth pick. The most untalked about pick, as Shayne said.
And the top 10 for sure.
Yes.
For me, it's a wide receiver or an edge rusher, and then I'm probably trading down. And I know people keep talking about down here that it's like, okay, like the 3 receivers will be gone, but one of the good tackles might make it to 9. And I don't know, like I don't think it would be a waste to get a left tackle at 9, but like it's not. I like Braxton Jones enough. Like I don't. If there's no one else there and there's no good trade down offers, sure, I'll take a tackle 9. Like there's worse things you could do there, but it's not exactly where I like to go. I prefer obviously like Neighbors or Dunze, probably not going to be there, but if they're there, that's an easy one for me. But then it's probably like Laiatu Latu, or I mean, I consider Jared Verse there.
Jared Verse and Latu Latu are.
Yeah,
I like Latu
in my conversation.
The neck scares me, man. I'm with Kenneth on that.
That's what they're there for right now.
Yeah, we'll find out
with Dr. Cox.
Yeah, he's either going to go top 10 or he's going to fall. Either the neck is fine and he goes top 10, or the neck has questions and he goes, late first maybe.
I can't wait to watch that tape because
I'm worried,
it's Khalil Mack like his tape. I'm telling you,
he's refined.
Wrong. Yeah. Oh, I get it. Could you, if your doctor gave him the go, could you do it, Lorin? At 9?
I
can too.
Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried the neck scares people. He falls to 25 and Green Bay gets him. You know what I mean? Or just something like that. I mean, I know they got edge rusher depth, but Preston Smith probably in his last year, but like something like that where he just goes and like Detroit gets him or something, and you're just for 10 years he's kicking your ass up and down the field. And it's just like, God damn it.
Where are you? Well,
exactly.
I brought up a name that I think is going to go higher than anybody thinks, and a guy that I love, and I don't think they'll pull the trigger at number 9, but I'm a Byron Murphy guy, defensive tackle, and I think he's going to be rising, and a lot of people are going to. I kind of comped it to like last year at this time. Everybody was saying, "Oh yeah, you can get Darnell Wright in like the second or third round," and then you get closer to the draft, and he's top 10 draft pick. I feel that way about him. He's going to be. I mean, I've heard rumors Minnesota at 11 with him.
Yeah,
even but
it gives me like Brian Brissy energy in that way, where it's like all of a sudden he just ends up going higher than people think, and late in the process he jumps up in the first round. And you're like, oh wow, like this is an early pick. Him and his teammate Devondre Sweat, like
I love them both.
I think Sweat's a first round guy. Like he should. He's finally going to weigh in tomorrow and probably will be around 350, 360, and I think teams will be like, all right, that's all we need to see. Great, we'll take you because he's going to kick ass. He may only play 30 snaps a game, but like those are going to be 30 damn good snaps.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
They will be. I don't want to keep you too long. I only said give us 10 minutes. Do you have any nuggets from the combine so far that you could share? Anything?
It was mostly the listening to trade down stuff, and I've heard a lot of stuff from like other teams as far as like players that might hit free agency or not hit free agency. But the Bears are pretty tight-lipped around here. Like even when they're out at the bars and stuff, like they're not fraternizing with a lot of the enemy. You know what I mean? Like a group of 4 Bear Scouts walked into the restaurant I was at and got their own table in the corner and kind of kept to themselves. Like, so I don't have a lot of specific Bear stuff to you, but players on other teams that might be available. And certainly like the Dolphins are most likely going to bring back Christian Wilkins in some capacity. Don't count on him hitting free agency, but Connor Williams.
How about this? What's the most surprising news that you've heard since you've been there?
Surprising news? I don't know that I've had a big shocker for me.
Nothing.
I don't. I'm
trying to
think
this guy on for. Phil.
It's been trust me. It was a late night last night, and it took a long time today to recover.
Were you around a certain offensive coordinator in Vegas?
He's a partier, that's for sure. I've not seen him down here, but he stays out at the bars, that's for sure.
We'll have to text you later. We'll have to text you later about that one.
Oh, trust me, I knew a certain Vegas offensive coordinator in Mobile last year. I saw him laid out at the bars, and it's like drunk stumbling back to the hotel at 1:32 in the morning, and then practice starts at 7 a.m. and he powered through.
Yeah, he powered through it. Well, let me ask you this then: is there one guy that you have thought in this draft it's going to surprise people first round or earlier, like Darnell Wright or whatever Shayne was using?
Yeah.
Anybody you have?
I mean, I don't know that I have like a name that you just like haven't heard, like some kind of total sleeper on nowhere. But like, I mean, I mentioned Devondre Sweat. I think he's earlier than people think. I think Jackson Powers Johnson is going to go a lot earlier than people think. What the safety from Miami, the free safety, not the big guy, James Williams, with is it Kitchens?
Yep. Cam
Kitchens, yes.
It would not surprise me if he sneaks in the first round. Like I know, like we talk about the safety class being, second round pick type of. There's no true like first round safety this class. Like again, I'm scared Green Bay at 25. I keep circling that. It's like, God damn, they're going to take one of these good players that the Bears would want, and he's going to be great for a long time. It's like I wouldn't surprise me if they just said, screw it. He's a good safety. We'll take him. He's a first round guy for us. He fits what we need as that true, free safety. Because especially with Jeff Hafley's defense, like they're going to run a lot of single deep stuff. They need an Eddie Jackson back there, and I think Kitchens can be that for them. So he's a guy that I think right now everyone sees in the second round, but he'll make that jump up in the first fight when it's all said and done.
Nice. That's exactly what I was looking for. You're at the combine. You can listen to Lorin Cox on the Locked On Bears every day, right? You have a podcast.
5 days a week. Yep.
5 days a week. Where else can they find you, Lorin?
Yeah, I was on Twitter at Cox Sports 1, and you got all the Locked On Bears on all the social medias. The TikToks and the Instagrams and the Facebooks.
He's in Jose Cotto's basement. Also,
that's right. That's where I am right now. Yes, clearly.
Well, get back to schmoozing. We so appreciate you taking the time out, and we'll have to talk to you again more leading up to the draft, maybe after the combine and all that stuff, or the big trade. Where are you, real quick, as you in percentages? Where are you with Justin Fields being traded?
It's hard to put a number on it, like 80, 90. Like it feels inevitable at this point. Like I would be really surprised if they didn't trade him. Like that to me feels like the tone was so different from Ryan Poles this week. I mean, compared to last year, totally different tone. Like they're trying to soften this for everybody to be like, all right, like, hey, this is probably gonna happen. Like, here you go. Like, we're gonna do right by him. We don't want to leave him in the gray. Like, yeah, like they're just waiting for the right offer, and they're gonna get it done by free agency in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think the mic drop moment for me was Albert Breer. There, he was on with Cap, and they were talking, and he's like, Justin doesn't have the playbook, Waldron's playbook yet, and Albert Breer goes, you know what? I bet you Justin Herbert has the playbook for the Chargers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And tells you a lot, correct? You know what I mean?
It tells you everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, no wonder he's sitting in the gray. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Lorin, we truly appreciate you, man. Follow this guy. Great dude, great person, great information from Mr. Cox. Let us know, Lorin, when you're available. We'll bring you back on, talk some more as this starts to build what you and myself started at Bears Hour Live, right?
All those years ago.
We always prayed that we thought we had it with Cutler. There was like this glimpse, but
Lorin's probably still got the Stop Jacism hoodie someplace, don't you?
He might.
That's a good question. I think back at my parents' house somewhere, tucked away. Yeah.
You probably threw it out with Phil's hat that Brian Perez fired him for.
No one told me about the hat. We love you,
good times. Hey, love you too, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
see you, Lorin. Thanks, man.
Night. Lorin Cox
awesome.
from the
Always
Combine. Such a good time.
Do you want me to send out the next one? We don't know if the next one can show up, but
he's big timing everybody. Like, I won't do anything for it. I'm proud of him this week. He had a great week. I even shouted him out, Shayne. Shouted him out on my Facebook page. What a great job he did. But then he just ignores us.
He did have the best question.
I believe he had two of the best questions. I'm glad that he double backed onto the Patrick Mahomes stuff.
But I brought that up with Kenneth though.
It was a great point by you, by the way.
GM doesn't know.
No.
I know if I'm in that role, and we always talk about this, Phil's the coach and I'm the GM. If
Shayne
if I'm playing the game, I'd be like, yeah, that's I'm not gonna get into comps publicly or anything like that. But it takes you behind the door. And listen, you can say whatever you want. Ryan Poles out there, he's dropped some weight, he's looking good, he's talking, with Kyle, he's very transparent. He really is. I don't think that there's a lot of bullshit,
bro.
there.
That's all I've been wanting.
And I think he's
he's
got that
moved
quiet
up
confidence, Phil, because if you really go back and you break it down, he listed off everything verbatim that he's offering Jalen Johnson to cover his ass, and by saying if he doesn't agree to what we're offering him, then it's going to be on him. I heard somebody else talking about that today, and it's a great point. He's like, yeah, we got the years, we got the guaranteed money, giving him a lot of options. I told him I can't give him everything, but sounds like probably it's going to be a shorter deal where he can hit the open market again after like 3 years or so. But like I said, I still maintain that you're going to get a two for a Jalen Johnson extension and a Justin Fields trade. And now it's almost
called some things correctly, man. You've honestly called some things correctly, and unfortunately, there are some people. There's patrons that see the work that we do, and they still have issues. So it's like a human condition at this point. It's like, what's the name of our network? The Tape Never Lies Network. Where do you think we begin the discussions? It isn't with Jackal statistical breakdowns in fantasy football. I'll tell you that.
What's wrong with those?
We bring Jackal on because we get more clicks.
Yep. Click off.
We don't go there. Certainly not. We are going to go to the tape first and foremost. We're going to discuss it, decipher it, dissect it, and then come with our opinions. I'm not looking, and you can fill in the blank like one of those ad lib books. I'm not looking at any other person's tape analysis. Put their name in there. Don't care. All I care about, selfishly or unselfishly, is my thoughts on it. That's how you have to be. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you, if you're a young up and coming scout and you're going like this, what do you think? What do you think? You're not ready. Who gives a fuck what Shayne thinks right now? I got to do my, and then later he'll be like, this motherfucker is taking my guy. I said the same. That's when it matters. Now you're checking it. You've done your work. A lot of these dudes out there,
speaking of work,
I can tell they've done none.
I got to give our guy Lawrence a shout out here.
Yeah.
He's been a fan of our network since 2017, even though we started in 2020. It's all good. We're not gonna put anything bad out there.
He's talking about.
He's been listening to your
been with us.
Voices.
Yes,
he's been with us.
No,
Our
I get
voices
it.
back.
I get it.
When did we officially start the original podcast? I was trying to. Yeah,
well, you were on it before I was, because you guys tried to get me to join for a while, and I was like, nah.
It was me and Lorin doing it at first.
Yeah.
Then we came over with the old network.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
Our first draft was Kevin White.
Kevin White.
Together, yeah.
I can't tell you what year that is.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2015.
2015.
Holy shit, bro.
I mean, we were involved in doing, draft.
Other shit.
Yeah.
You forever.
Dating back to like the Rashaan Salam draft. Yes. I remember where this whole crew, me and Phil and Cars originally met, was on a cbfans.net.
It was the dial-up.
Yeah, when you would click on it, there was a picture in the banner of Rashaan Salam and the ultra back Raymond Harris, and there's actually a couple of old Bears players in there. Remember James Parrish? Do you remember that name?
James Parrish.
He was in there. Yeah, Halo, Iggy, all those old names.
Shit.
Yeah.
Some have passed on. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, Bear Dude. Remember, he used to say, book it. Yeah, he passed away.
Book it.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Bear Dude. But now we're here, years later, doing this and putting our name to it. That's why. And I want to reiterate this again. So some of you, like, there's a nerd, and I gave the name Blog Boy.
Tony. No, not that's Tony Parrish. We're talking
Tony Parrish.
James Parrish, an
talking about a
offensive
guy.
lineman. Yeah.
Oh shoot,
yeah.
Don't worry, bro.
Tony Parrish, 3rd round draft pick out of Washington in 1998.
Number 30.
Olin Kreutz draft.
Yes, it was. I could see the Bear
And
report.
Alonzo Mays.
Alonzo Mays.
He missed
Kreutz,
he missed his
Tony
flight
Parrish.
to rookie minicamp, and they asked him why he was late, and his response, I'll never forget it. Sometimes it just ain't your day. That's what he said.
Some days are diamonds, some days are stones.
Saw Alonzo Mays out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
was
4th
going
round.
to do some things.
Yeah.
For the Bear. Who was the 1st round pick that year?
1998.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You should know this. Curtis fucking Enos.
Oh my
Should have been
God.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, we passed on. And Aaron Rodgers was in that draft. Was that his draft?
No. Aaron Rodgers was 2005.
Why? Who was 98 quarterback coming out?
Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf.
Oh, that's what it was. That's where I'm confusing. That was my
Andre Wadsworth, Charles Woodson.
Wadsworth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Florida State. Holy shit. But the term blog boy came from a regurgitator of somebody else's information. They don't do the work. They see your tweet and they reword it and create their own breakdown and portray at the same time that they've broken down tape. So now they've done 3 different moves to create a narrative. And that's where that term, usually the guys that trade down for the haul are usually in that nerd-based category where you don't understand how important getting the quarterback is, right? You're okay with mediocrity or below. You don't shoot to try to get better at the most important position in football. And that's where you are. And we've had 2 guys on tonight that I respect. I honestly didn't know where Kenneth stood on it, but he's clearly with us in regards to Caleb Williams too. And I'll tell you this, we're not dodging anybody. I'll reiterate it again. Anybody that Bears content creators, if you're
let's just be, people have been out there because one of our guys that we got a really good relationship, Herb Howard, is on the complete other side of the fence of where Phil and I are. And there's been people out there saying that we're dodging Herb Howard. We're not dodging Herb Howard. I put on Twitter that Herb's got an open door policy. If we want to come on and debate quarterbacks, we 100% have him on and debate it. Exactly. That's anybody that knows Phil and I at this point. If you think we're against having a debate with anybody, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. So we're not dodging anybody. Phil, have we ever sat down and said, "Oh, no, it wouldn't be comfortable if we had this person"? I'm not even talking about Herb at this point. But have we ever sat down and ever had a conversation that it wouldn't be comfortable, or we're just not going to have that?
No. I mean, everyone was nervous when it was me and Olin facing off in regards to Mustafa.
Yeah.
But how many other people live would debate Olin? Like, come on. There's no, like, Cherie is a great witness to this because she's been with us since the beginning. And I love her dearly. She's probably sleeping right now. But the reality is she knows she would not be a fan of us if Shayne and I went out there. Oh, she's up. And you can pop in, Cherie. If Shayne and I went out there ripping content creators, guys that are trying to do what we're doing. Yep. It's the opposite of that. If you're doing it right, I'm going to help you. I'm total, and Shayne will too. I know this. But if you're out there fraudulent and you're taking side shots and manipulating bullshit, it's gonna get back to us. We have a big fan base. I have screenshots.
Oh, people are doing that?
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Kidding.
Oh my God.
Sad.
I have a
There's
separate cell phone just for receipts
Oh gosh.
Hang on.
and
Ooh,
pictures
I
that
just
Cherie sends me. But anyway, did
Hey,
I
keep
say
it
that?
on the low, Shayne.
Cherie,
Don't tell nobody.
the hair is looking sharp.
It
Thank
is.
Feeling
you.
this look.
I noticed
Gotta give you
Jackal
props.
didn't give her props. about
Well,
the
look
new
at
hair
Jackal.
tonight.
We've been
hairline.
texting each other, quite
Jackal's
frankly, and
hairline
I've
looks
made
the
her.
furthest it's ever looked. What is going on here?
What's the matter?
I don't know if it's the camera.
I don't. I do so. I might have did something wrong with my
Is
settings.
it your
Who knows?
hair?
Could be my hair.
Not hair.
I think his setup on the camera is different because it's
Yes,
the
he
books were
looks-
never blurry before, right?
Yeah.
Do I look
different
clear?
angle.
Yeah, you're clear, but
Yeah,
your
you look
shoulders
clear,
are
but your
blurry.
background-
I updated my operating system on my MacBook. I don't know if it defaulted to some setting. I don't know. Who fucking
My
knows?
new
I'm
one's
not
supposed
an
to be
IT
here on
specialist.
Friday now, Phil. So,
Yes, Shane got a new computer.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Dominic, we can't see what you're saying for $1.99. I just
Yeah.
wanted to get that off the tape just
hear you.
real quick and finish up with it because yes, Shane and I see the bullshit. And unfortunately, I am a passionate person and I will address, and so will Shane. We're from the same, but it comes from a place where you're not understanding how much blood, sweat, and tears you're putting into it. And we don't have $1 billion corporation backing us in this. So to do the work and do all of the things that you have to do as a father, as a husband,
And a regular 9 to 5.
and a regular 9 to 5 job, and then do this for a fan base starved for the truth, and you see other people lying and then taking shots at you and threatening you or talking about you come to
not
Chicago, you're gonna get this, that kind of stuff don't sit well with me. I will take it to the task of that.
Rip through some of these super
Let's
chats.
get to the super chat.
Guy Tanswell, $6.99. Who do you guys think could be good options at center through the draft or free agency? I just think I know everybody's in love with Powers Johnson and
overpay.
Well, it's just listen, if you're going rookie quarterback, I just don't think the Bears are going to invest highly in the draft in the center to have a rookie quarterback and rookie center. So, and
still like
Gareth, we're gonna have all of this. I know we got to kind of transition a little bit, but once the Justin trade goes down here, I think it's gonna be, within the next week would be my guess. We will transition pretty hard towards, giving you some free agency targets, and then after that, it's going to be full blown draft mob early and often. So we will definitely have all that for you.
Exactly.
And Hooper's back. Marino went 27th, and yet they took Galt instead. Yeah. Well, you gotta remember at the time that was
The year before they took Jim McMahon.
Yeah, in the first round high.
Yeah.
So
that's why.
Right.
That's the Willie Galt.
Well, that's a good example, Shane, just to stop there.
Yeah.
You have Justin Fields here.
Right.
Here's Dan Marino coming out. Do you learn from these mistakes?
Well, right. You
have
had
to
Rex
look at
Grossman
it.
in 2003 and injured,
Aaron
and then injured
Rodgers.
again. And yeah, you could have
In his second, yeah, you're right. Aaron
You know,
Rodgers
you
coming
took-
out that
you
after
took Cedric
Rex's second
Benson.
year.
You took Cedric Benson that year with Thomas Jones. Listen, you guys have heard me talk about this. The Bears drafted 2 running backs within the top 5 over a 7-year span, and neither one of them started as rookies. Drafted them within the top 5.
That's insane.
You're talking about Curtis Enos because there was a holdout. They even went out that year and signed Bam Morris, if you
Yes.
remember.
Can't believe he held out.
Enos was holding out.
Yes, and then Cedric Benson, and there was 3 running backs in the top 5 that Cadillac Williams, Cedric Benson, and then the Ronnie
Greg Gabriel and
the guy
Jerry Angelo.
He went to Miami. They took him number 2 overall, from Auburn. I'm blanking on his name. I'm sure somebody. Ronnie Brown.
Ronnie Brown. Ended up running the Wildcat at Miami.
Yeah.
Ronnie Brown.
Lawrence Crispin, $5. Did y'all see how mad Colin Cowherd got today reading the Caleb? Yeah, he did. He goes out there and he's like, hey, listen, the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams as they should. And then he proceeded to railroad the Chicago Bears and the organization for the next 10 minutes, talking about how trash they are. And listen, he understands that the Chicago Bears are a massive media market, and he knows that it's going to fire the fans up. It's going to fire Shayne and Phil up. We're going to talk about it, and that's what it is. Listen, people that go against consensus have made millions of dollars doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not.
We can't.
We're not built
that way. We just aren't. The whole truth of it is this, and Shayne said it to me in a text, and I didn't get to say it when Kenneth was here. I was about to say it, but if the Dallas Cowboys had this pick right now, they would be the media and the people would be like, Dallas has a chance to change their whole dynamic with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, if they were drafting one, it would be
Caleb Williams like a god.
Yeah.
But because he's going to Chicago and Justin Fields, who's done nothing really, what has he done? Let's just be honest. What has he done? Nothing. He's been exciting highlight plays, but
pedestrian.
Right.
It's very average. It's
our guy
it's
Jeremy
completely
Anasazi, 1999. JJ McCarthy is the safest pick out of the quarterback class. I would not agree with that. He can make all the throws, 22-1 as a starter, never had a top wide receiver in college. Team guy will put his head down and work day one. I like
Wilson is
JJ, but I would definitely not call him the safest pick. I don't think that there is if you think that you're drafting JJ McCarthy and starting him in year one, it's going to be a failure of epic proportions.
I love Jeremy, but the safest pick.
I like JJ,
and I like JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. I like JJ McCarthy. I thought JJ should stay another year.
If I had, that's why, and I know people were killing me in the chat, but
he would have been the first pick next year.
I would, if there's a pathway for me to sign Kirk Cousins and draft JJ and just say, JJ, you are not getting on the field. I mean, I would have Kirk Cousins and then Tyson Bagent and then JJ McCarthy on my depth chart like that. That's
wow.
Yeah, if we had just the 9th pick and you're looking at what it is.
And still there's a world he's very well could be going before that, and that's good for Chicago.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Go.
If he goes,
that's what I'm saying. That would be
in the top 8 is wild.
See, that's the thing.
He's going top 10, man.
You think McCarthy goes top 10? Wow. Okay.
Mark it down and put it in the book.
Okay.
Shayne is taking a
3
shot.
receivers and 4 quarterbacks in the top 10 picks. That's pretty wild. That's
I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see him like maybe the low point is Denver, and they're at 12.
Yeah, I like that fit. I'd like Peyton to get his hands on him.
Yeah. So
the battle is between.
We did this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already. That just
we did
10, 15
deleted.
or whatever.
I can't even read it.
Yeah, he's just talking about the group that you would get with a trade down. Huh?
Who's CF?
I think it's just
Claudio Fernicola.
Yeah,
yes.
Claudio. We're definitely not drafting Claudio, but yeah, the battle is. I think he means Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
the battle is between Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. coupled with the talents of Justin Fields.
Not
CF.
Williams.
I don't know.
Wait, because
it's not Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields. I feel Justin Fields coupled with NBA is better than
Gerald might be into the hippie last a little bit tonight. I'm not sure.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. Get into it, Gerald.
Sometimes I can't type either. I think he's essentially talking about the haul. It's the haul that you would get with the trade down with Marvin. So if you traded down and got Marvin Harrison, and
he likes that pairing with
stuff.
Justin better than drafting Caleb and what you do after, I think is what he was referring to.
Odds Justin isn't an
I don't
NFL
agree
starter
by
in
the
5
way,
years. Yeah. I don't know, man. I listen,
yeah.
Is it I have no idea. projecting if a guy's going to be a starter
I hope
or not. I mean, 50-50. I mean, that's where I would probably go in. You just don't know.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I would be there. I can't say yes.
Yeah.
and
that's going to be
I
one
think
thing.
he
And
has the potential to still be a starter in 5
Sure,
years. We
absolutely.
just can't say for sure.
But this is the thing that I'm not going to be, and I know Phil and you guys also. We'll see he's going to go someplace and he's going to have fantastic games and put up, great stats. I don't happen to think it's going to ever be consistent enough for you to get where you want to go. But one thing this network will never do, we're not going to put, Justin, Justin threw 6 picks.
Look at him throw those picks. You're never going to see
I'll tell you
that.
how I am. I know we like to bag on Mitch, and that's not even on Mitch Trubisky himself so much. It's more about the people that were positive he was going to win a Super Bowl once he left Chicago. But I'm the type of guy, like when Justin Fields leaves Chicago, I'm an unfollow social media guy. You're not a Bear.
Yeah. Oh, you unfollow him too? Like you send a message?
Yeah.
Are you going on vacation?
I wish I could go on vacation.
Oh.
No.
Phil asked me if I was tired the other day. I said, yeah, I was tired back in November, and I'm still fucking tired.
Get in line on the struggle bus, bro.
So, Dominic, we still don't see it, and you did the follow-up, and we still
What
don't.
is going on, Dominic?
Dominic's struggling.
Send Dominic the fucking link so he can ask us.
Jack will look through the chat.
Air.
Maybe he threw it in there.
Someone
Mark McGowan, $5. One GM said he wouldn't trade a quarterback like Caleb for 10 number 1 picks. Can't wait for this draft to be over. Well, it was.
I'm that GM too.
Yeah,
so.
But I think that was Bill Polian said that about Peyton Manning. He said, I don't care if you traded me, you offered me 10 first-round picks, which isn't even legal, by the way.
No.
I don't care if you offered me 10. I'm not taking it. And it's you can't. If you have it settled at quarterback, and listen, we don't know. We think we know where it should be headed with what we see on tape. Nobody truly knows. Lots of things can happen. We'll see, but yeah,
no one could offer me anything to move.
I think it's funny.
Williams right
I
now.
think it's funny when everybody's like, "Oh, you got to get the Hall. You got to get the Hall. You got to get the Hall." The Hall
Jack
is the franchise quarterback.
The Hall is Caleb.
Yeah,
Jack
the Hall is the franchise
Well,
quarterback.
what if there's nobody?
Yeah.
Nothing could move me. Walter Payton can't move me.
But
off
the point
quarterback
is, Phil,
Caleb Williams right now because of the
unless you
position.
murdered somebody.
With people, it's Caleb versus the
Exactly.
Hall, but that's really the easy way out because what is the Hall?
It's a roll of the dice again.
It's
The
another
Hall
shot
in
at
that
the game.
world. Every pick is working out for them. There's not going to be a Rex Grossman with a Michael Haynes, right? There's not going to be a Kevin White, right? There's not going to be a Mitch Trubisky, right?
Floyd.
No, it's a risk taking a quarterback number 1, and it's a risk. You're giving yourself more swings, but again, you cannot say that and then say, "Oh, I believe in Ryan Poles that he's going to get all those picks right." But if Ryan Poles decides to draft Caleb Williams, then I don't believe in Ryan Poles. You can't.
Shayne, I'll do one better because everything you said is right. But you see these clowns doing their mock
The
draft.
cash over cap explanation and
No.
Andrew Brink.
What was that? You see these guys doing their mock drafts. They get all these picks, all of these. Take a center at 9, get all these extra picks. But yet, every year of the draft, that never even happens because the NFL doesn't work like that. It's not a nerd-run organizational thing. You can do all the analytics you want, but the Hall is to get to the Hall of Fame by getting a quarterback that's going to lead you there to the Super Bowl. If anything, this playoff showed you is how important a quarterback is in order to win. And that's the reality. And I'm just going to say this other point, run first guys that look to scramble and run, they don't last in this league. It's just a proven. It's something you can't debate. And that's unfortunate for where we are and why this chapter has to end with Justin. Lorin put it at 90%. I think it's like 100% that he's traded next week.
Oh, I'm with Lorin on that. I mean, you're probably never going to call it 100% just because crazy shit can
it's the Bears.
happen. Yeah, well, I mean, anyway, you can go out and I don't even want to say it. Somebody can get hurt, whatever. Stupid shit can happen. But I don't know how anybody with an open mind can listen to what was said yesterday.
Exactly.
And think anything other than Justin's about to be a former Bear. And that's not us talking negative about it. Yeah.
Like changing whole narratives. The other thing is, real quick, I know we want to get through these, but it's important for us to say it because we're so strong on this as a part of our mission statement. But there was this whole narrative that was thrown out there about Caleb Williams saying he never want to play for the Bears. He's fine. All of that. People were making shit up. Then he comes out, does this interview, and says, I would be excited. He puts all of that to rest, right? He put it all to rest. He got out in front of it, said, if you don't hear it from me, then it ain't true. That's what he said. And people are still dropping these things. Like, you can't keep moving the goalposts, guys. Like, come on. Like, just stop. It's embarrassing.
I look forward to Friday when he gets in front of the mics, and talks to all the reporters. It'll be good.
And you know what? I've seen him speak. He's very, very likable kid. I shared on Facebook with one of a guy that I've known for a while, and he's running into the narratives too. And I was like, listen, all I know is I've talked to a teammate of his, played with him in his Heisman year, and he
Christian,
said,
guess what? You're wrong.
This is what I'm talking.
He said Arizona. So Christian, just don't even bother commenting on it.
This is what we're still dealing with.
We've only addressed it 10,000 times.
I talked to his teammate.
Just say that I have a Justin Fields blow up doll and I'm not giving it up for anything. Actually, Caleb Williams' father told me that you have a Justin Fields blow up doll.
Well, not only that, Caleb Williams himself came out today.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, who the fuck wants to go to that source?
Who wants to go to that?
Right.
Caleb said, you know what? I'm fucking lying.
It is he's not going to shit on an NFL franchise. I thought that was pretty well. I mean, he's obviously coached up, but that was, I mean, if you're anti Caleb Williams, you hear that. I mean, how would you not want him to come out? He's like, I want to be in Chicago. Like, wouldn't you want that? I don't.
And then when he was asked, like, if you get traded, if they trade, then I'll be happy there too. What is he going to say?
Exactly.
What would your son say? What would you say if you were great? You were this great prospect coming out of the draft, and someone asked you, "Would you be?" I'd be excited. No. Well, what if you get traded and they trade you to Tampa? Well, I'd be excited there too. He, as Cap said, he'll tell you, and this is the day and age of these kids, and Justin is no different. They're a brand. They're a brand, and that's the reality of it. And the Bears obviously have everything they like on the tape, and now they meet with the kid. I guess, do they meet with him today?
Tonight.
They meet with him tonight, and they'll see what his teammate told me. I mean, he has no horse in the race. He just wanted to clarify that this guy's a guy that thinks about the lowest kid on the football team. That's the kind of football player he is. Amazing on the field, but outside the field, he'll be the guy that makes sure the kid that's on the bench or the walk-on is included in everything as well. That's the kind of teammate he is. Those things mean a lot.
Long-time listener, Nicholas Lopez, $5, first super chat. I still listen to DDP's rant, Bears versus Bucks week 2. Justin looked atrocious out there, scared, unable to recognize. Didn't even need to add the laugh out loud at the end.
I do if you wanted to hear it, but
that tape doesn't exist, Nicholas, according to some of these guys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I've lived these things passionately watching this tape, and those rants are my real emotion afterwards.
Doyle Collette, $20. I'm 100% a Field supporter. There is a lot to like about the kid. He's constantly working to improve. He has the mentality to be great, but right now, with 39 games under his belt as a passer, he's inferior to Caleb, and it shows. I mean, that's about as grounded and level-headed as a take as you can have right there.
Yep.
Thank you, Doyle.
Well done, Doyle.
Doyle is a
Great
patron, and he's very educated.
Fucking love that name, Doyle. Right?
Didn't we talk about Doyle?
I think so. I think I said the same thing before.
He was
Doyle.
This is my friend Doyle.
I thought he
right?
was like from Connecticut.
Doyle will fuck you
across
up.
the pond.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
my buddy
Doyle,
Doyle.
and then he's not. Doyle, where are you from? Doyle,
Doyle's
put
books
it in
are
the
blurry.
chat. Doyle, I should have named our dog Doyle.
As long as he's not from New York and somebody's knocking on my door, it's like, can we be best friends? I'm Doyle from the chat. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There he is. Doyle, where are you from? Are you from the States?
Sound Creation Studios, $10. I want to give a shout out to our guy Alex H. He ran into some hard times. He said he'd be out of the loop for a while. He was the first person to welcome me here. He deserves only positive thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. We send our love and
I
support
texted
to Alex.
Alex H.
Yeah,
this week
sucks.
when
Yep.
Shayne informed me what's going on. I
Always
won't put it out there, but
always a tough time when real life shit happens to anybody. But yeah, take your time, and we'll be seeing you when football is not going anywhere, and neither are we.
No, it is not.
That's a great super chat there. Our guy Kerry Franklin is back.
there he is.
Dominic wanted to say FGB, 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 and Caleb Williams is on his way.
fingernails.
There it is. There it is. Bear down.
Well done, Kerry.
Well done, Kerry. We got through all of the super chats. Jeff Burton, patron number 2, is in the chat. I wanted to shout him out today. And I was going to shout out Alex H. So I thank Sonder for Creation Studios for doing it with me here. I want to double down on that. I also want to call out a few fucking haters right now. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
It would be funny, but don't do it.
I want to shout out the biggest frauds on. No, I'm joking. Shayne, that's about it, man.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah.
Get out of here at 11 o'clock tonight.
Wow.
Love it.
Get out of here at
weed every
11 o'clock.
day.
We don't even need to do shout outs. Phil's throat is parched
Oh,
and
it's
dry. I
Trent.
don't want him to talk
It's my
too
guy,
much.
Trent. It's Trent.
Oh, it's Trent.
Emery.
Trent. Emery.
Where the fuck
My
Doyle
guy.
at? Doyle go to bed?
Yeah, he
Where did
disappeared.
Doyle.
Maybe he's
Where
not
did he
from
go?
around here.
But you know what that
Doyle.
it's 4 a.m.
John
here.
Taylor. Where are you, John? It's 4 a.m.
Doyle, where are
It's just so slick and skinny in a hole.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Jose Cotto was in there.
Yeah, he was.
Jose
And Lauren.
Cotto and Lauren.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I know I will.
Cherie's favorite.
Oh, he's in Tennessee now. That's
The only
right.
10 I see.
Doyle Colette. Colette or
Ooh.
Colette?
I'm gonna say it's Colette. Doyle.
Colette.
Doyle Collette.
Now say it like
Hopefully
you're
it's not
from Tennessee.
doily.
We work
That-
with a
now
Colette.
that would be funny.
Doily.
We work
Doily.
with a Collette.
What was that? Jerome?
Jerome, yeah. Like, you mean Jerome, Phil?
Jerome turned out to be a
My
jack,
name is
right?
Phil Atoshin, and I am
Jerome
illiterate.
was
That
a
was
jack.
funny. Jerome.
Hey,
that was a good one.
Spell it right,
No.
Doily. Come on. What the fuck?
Doily.
bro?
Come on.
Doyle Collette.
Doyle Colette.
Yeah, you never want to rely on Phil for names.
Oh
No.
my
Sounded
god.
like
That's
this.
good.
Good.
Listen, I appreciate the love and the support of the fan base. If you're not a patron, I don't know what you're doing. This weekend, I will tell you, I saw it asked a few times. This weekend, we will put chapter 4, and then we'll kick off all of our draft coverage. We did the Drake Maye breakdown. Chapter 4 will be Sunday when we take a look at Caleb Williams versus Washington and watch that whole live game where you heard Lorin and Shayne joke about the narrative.
Fuck your mom. Whoa.
Not that narrative, Claude. Jesus.
Of Caleb Williams somehow losing his talent after Notre Dame. Well, that will die a death on Sunday. And then Monday, we will do Jayden Daniels. And then after Monday, we'll officially kick off Draft Mob and then free agency. Any free agent that we sign, we will break down what they're going to bring to the Chicago Bears. All of this stuff.
One more question here, Phil.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to address this.
Oh,
Booker T's new name.
Booker's been gone. I went to the fucking store to pick up food and cook, and I came home and they changed the name. They wanted a different name. So now his name has been reassigned. He is now
Boyle.
Kobe.
I thought you were going to tell me it was Boyle.
That's why my dog's named JoJo for similar reasons, I'm assuming. But, you know. Jojo Bean Bryant. I probably should have said that, but Bean is the dog.
What was his nickname?
I thought you were going to say it was after JoJo the idiot circus pet.
No, but Bean,
Jojo
Bean is the dog's real name. That's what my kid's name.
My dog.
It was from Tommy Boy, right?
My first dog's name that I had on my
Kobe,
own,
as in
was Kobe.
Bryant.
I walked into my parents' house with my puppy to show him my puppy at the time, and my dad had Sports Center on, and Kobe Bryant was announcing from Lower Marion High School his announcement to forego college and enter the NBA draft. So I'm like, that's a cool name, Kobe. So I named my puppy Kobe.
I like that.
And I had a Booker.
Steph,
So,
come on.
I know. It was so weird. Shayne, I looked at this dog and was like, that's a Booker. As in Marty Booker.
I got home from work one day and the Bears traded Marty Booker to the Miami Dolphins for Adewale Agunleye, and I wasn't going to name my dog Agunleye, so I just sat with Booker.
I fought for Caleb, Jackal. I wanted to name him Caleb, but I got nagged.
I could have just kicked off some bad karma. You know, you want to wait, just hold off. Just give it a week.
Hold off. That'll be the
after
next.
They announce the trade on Friday. You know, when they have it in the works, the framework.
Change his name again.
You can go back to.
Will
there be a pop-up show if there's any trades?
His name was Tic Tac.
As long as we are available.
Yeah.
Hey, what was his name? Doyle from Tennessee. I know Kerry Franklin's from Tennessee. The dogs that we saved are from Tennessee, Shayne.
Oh,
send them up to Connecticut. They're from Tennessee. This litter of 7 dogs was so mistreated. Like
my sister saved a dog, and guess where the dog was from?
Tennessee. Same with our rescue.
Yeah.
What the heck's going on in Tennessee, Kerry? And
you gotta get Cherie a dog.
Don't order
food. What would Cherie's dog?
She's got her hands full, boys. She's keeping herself, you know. She doesn't need a dog, you know.
Pick up what
my hands are full when I'm around Cherie. All right, Cherie.
Wow,
Jackal.
You see what you started, Jackal?
I wish there was like a delay so I could somehow.
Yeah, my dump button doesn't work anymore on my stream deck. So
shout out my guy.
Filtered out of my mouth.
Beast.
Is Cherie's mom still in the chat?
Detail's always stepping up for us.
Sorry, Cherie.
I love you.
You know what the hall is, Phil? TTNL Network is the hall. And that's why we're getting the fuck out of here. The hall.
See you guys.
We're getting the hall. Love you.
Next week on TTNL, we got David Kaplan.
Hey, fuckers. This is Brian Liker, and I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
Tape Never Lies Network, man.
The tape never lies.
Keeping it 100 like I'm keeping it 100 when it comes to the Bears.
I think the tape never lies, right?
The tape never lies.
Never does. Not smart.
Get your hat and get the hell off the field.
Lorin Cox from Locked On Bears, and I'm keeping it 100.
You guys know the tape never lies.
Hey, this is David Kaplan. Listen to me. You want to learn football? Listen to my guys, Phil and Shayne. Keeping it 100, the tape never lies network.
Courtney Cronin, beat reporter covering the Chicago Bears for ESPN and ESPN.com. And I am keeping it 100 on the tape never lies.
I'm Raymond Harris, the Quiet Storm, a.k.a. Ultraback, and I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies network.
Home of the greatest Chicago Bears fans on earth.